Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 81, and this is ArcheAge, joined this week by...
Omer?
Gumble?
Matt?
Aurelia.
Boom, full house.
All right, and this week, as always, there is something special to celebrate every week, all right? And this week, apparently today is National Miners Day. I guess to celebrate the dangerous work of the miners out there. Yeah, it's a thing. I googled the holidays today, and it's Miners Day.
Honestly, I thought you meant kids.
Does that extend to like gold
Lollies?
farmers,
Yeah, of course.
gold farmers and MMOs?
Oh, good
God
point.
bless
Right?
gold farmers.
I feel like that's an agricultural holiday, not necessarily a mining holiday. But I feel like
Well,
it's
imagine if you're a gold farmer, you get the double celebrate because one, you used to be a miner, and now you're farming for gold, so you get to, you know.
How about Bitcoin miners? Do they get to celebrate on?
They should. But really, we can celebrate the lollies
Data
out there,
miners.
right? We can celebrate the lollies out there. It's not the same kind of miner, but, you know, we'll take it.
Fitty
I didn't
in
get
chat
that at
says, "How
first.
about data miners? Do they get it too?"
The data miners? The date miners?
According to South Korea,
Anyway.
they might be going to jail, so we'll see.
Yes!
Oh,
And-
wow.
We'll get to that, though. We'll get to that. Let's
All right.
let's start with the weekly raid.
All right, right on point.
All right,
this
go
week,
ahead.
guys.
Right? You got my link. I even put a
Have
little
at
video
it.
in there for you. This week, we're a little more specific. This Saturday, ArcheAge is relaunching its big ol' update called 3.0 Revelation. And I do think they put the 3.0 in front of the name, which is kind of odd. The new update is a pretty big deal for ArcheAge since its release. There's a whole bunch of new goodies, 2 new races, more environments, etc., etc. And they're also launching fresh start servers. The idea, I guess, is to grab back some veterans and try and create a fair experience in the eyes of players. Now, I've heard from a lot of veterans, and they say they'll never go back. They feel like anything touched by Tryon is disgraceful, but I'm going to be playing. I've never played ArcheAge. I missed out. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited. So I want to ask the community and everyone here, is anyone going to be playing ArcheAge when Update 3.0 launches?
Well, let's see. It's coming out on the 10th, you said, right?
Yeah, that's Saturday.
So do we have a Sunday Fun Day for the week after MapleStory planned?
Yes, we want to do Bless as well.
Okay, fine.
The Russian version of Bless we want to do ideally.
Okay.
But this will also be on the list, obviously, to do. And I actually do want to play it myself as well, because I did play for a while after I did my first video, and I think played like level 30 or so. I didn't play it too much, but I never really got to experience like the mid-late game content. So this will give me an excuse to come back and play it again. And even I read a lot of people complaining about all the pay-to-win stuff that, you know, whether it actually is pay-to-win or not. I think Matt kind of disagreed about the pay-to-win stuff before. I do feel like people do exaggerate a lot of the pay-to-win stuff, and even though, you know, even if it is minorly pay-to-win, it's not really going to affect you unless you really want to be competitive. And I feel like I'm not going to play ArcheAge super competitively anyway, so any of that cash up stuff I don't think will bother me regardless. So yeah, this will give me a good excuse to come back and check it out again.
Yeah, this definitely seems like one of those cases where, like, kind of like Black Desert, where you got like the top end people complaining, but ArcheAge seems like one of those games that just seems like a lot of fun if you just kind of play it casually. So it's worth a shot.
I don't know if I'm going to be playing. Not because of any. I just started Bless Russia after, and it's restarting because I was already playing Bless Korea before that, but casually because I didn't want to get too invested based on whether or not the Russian version was going to people luck or not. But and I'm also playing Rift a lot more than I expected to be.
Rift?
So,
Wow.
yeah.
I like Rift. Rift was fun.
Rift was fun, but I'm just surprised you're playing it in 2016.
I know, Aaron, you played Rift a while ago too. I mean, you
did.
got pretty high level.
Yeah, it was a fun game. It was it was just solid. It didn't seem gimmicky like a lot of the Korean MMORPGs. So yeah,
Did you
not
guys
every
play, did you guys play the Chloromancer? That was like one of the coolest healing classes I've ever seen. And like nobody has really done something like that.
Innovation in healing classes? Come on. Impossible.
I'm
Healing
so
class is
bored.
supposed to be boring, all right? Come on.
No.
It has to be boring. All right, let's be real. The healer class in every MMORPG is like playing Diner Dash, all right? You see the HP bars going down. You just like have to manage like how you cast your heals. It's so like It's like almost like it's just a flash mini game. That's it. That's a healer class in a nutshell in every game.
I don't think that like Scholar is like that in Final Fantasy.
I haven't played Scholar. I've only played Black Mage so far in Final Fantasy. I don't
If
know.
you're
I can't
playing a
speak about
white
that.
mage,
Well,
but like you gotta block the damage before it comes in as a scholar. You gotta know, you know.
All right.
Gotta pay
I mean, I don't.
attention.
I don't know how they actually balanced it, but like I had a lot of fun the other day because Rift. There was, you know how they have the open world events in terms of rifts, and then they have the open world like massive epic quests where you have to run across the entire zone, close a bunch of rifts, destroy a bunch of footholds, kill a bunch of really difficult like mobs, and then they have like a raid boss summon. And this raid boss, it leaves eggs that you have to destroy, or they'll end up spawning other mobs like ads, and it places eggs a lot more than I expected, right? So we only had 7 people in total working on this. So imagine taking on an entire raid boss with an unbalanced group of 7 people and having to kill literally dozens of ads at the same time. It was hard as fuck. The entire team piped like twice.
Real talk. Raid bosses and bosses in general are only hard because of those freaking ads, right? If there's ever one, I feel like it's always easier to handle an encounter if it's just one enemy. The moment there's like a shit ton of ads, it always gets complex, and like you have to organize who deals with the ads in what way. That's what makes like any encounter and like any boss difficult. Dealing with the stupid ads. Never really the boss is up. You get the boss by itself for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's true.
Ads.
I don't know. Some of the bosses in Final Fantasy are just single tank and they have really neat mechanics.
Also,
Harpy, that Harpy
Matt, you were
extreme was
talking
really tough
about
in
in Rift. How even though it's aged now, right? How cool do those like rifts look when they spawn and like you clear one when the big mob spawns?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I've been having so much fun doing the rifts that I've actually done more rifts than I have quests in total.
Let me look what year again Rift actually came out.
Rift was pretty quick decently quick to embrace their free-to-play model.
Yeah,
but like it kind of, it did the whole like minor backpedal thing again, national minor day again, but with the latest expansion costing money. So it's this odd hybrid now of free-to-play with some buy-to-play mechanics.
It's also it was $50 million to develop.
Yeah,
apparently.
I mean, it does show it's a very quality game. Like it really does play like us. Also, like you said, it used to be sub, so it doesn't. And that's what I mean by gimmicky. Like the cash shop came later, so it's not designed from the beginning with these like all these little cash shop gimmicks in mind. Oh, so solid game.
Back to ArcheAge for a minute, right? I'm gonna check it out, right? But like, I hate that the marketing materials for ArcheAge is like, or our game is like 200 plus classes, but like they don't. They have like 3 class trees. Like you have 3 different skill sets equipped at once, and they say like, oh, if you mix and match them, they're individual classes. Yeah, they got their own names and stuff too. But that's like such a cheesy way to advertise. Like, oh, we have like 200 classes. Like, no, you don't. You have. That's not how it works. That's not a class.
It's the same system as Rift, and Rift has different callings. It calls them, and no, you have callings, which are your classes, and then you have purposes, which are each of the skill trees. So it calls them purposes, not classes. And they even have a different name from the main classes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the exact same thing they did, and I thought it was kind of ironic considering they're actually 2 developers.
And they're expanding open world housing too in ArcheAge 3.0. I know, anytime you have open world housing, it's always an issue with who gets the land, and it's always tightly fought after.
Yeah,
so
I think that's the thing that's the thing that's deterring me more than the pay to win, right? The quote unquote pay to win. I don't want to cast any aspersions, but anyways, I don't like housing is really important to me when I can actually get it, and it's really important that I actually am able to get it. And I don't want to get in there and go at my like casual pace that I'm probably going to be doing, because if I'm not going to be taking it seriously, if it's even the slightest bit pay to win, I'm going to be taking it casually, and I just don't want to get to whatever point I could actually buy a house and find out that I can't buy a house. That's really depressing.
But the open world housing, I feel like it makes the housing more meaningful, like than games like BDR or even like what was it, Twin Saga? It was Twin Saga as well.
I don't get the impression that housing needs to be valuable. I mean, it's valuable in that it's a place that you can customize and make your own. I mean, that's the value in it. Having a real monetary value and in-game like place that it exists.
But
I
it
don't
adds
feel
context.
like it has the same.
Being an open world could add context to it and like cooler.
Yeah,
like,
it could, but it could also
But it
just.
does. Like, for Final Fantasy, for example, is the most. I don't want to use old examples because I do like Star Wars Galaxy's persistent housing, and I love Ultima Online persistent housing, right? Whereas Final Fantasy kind of has like a pseudo persistent housing system because it has like districts and there's like 80 versions of one district, right? So like, but there's still kind of big zones, and it's kind of cool because like when I first came to like Shu's guild house because we're in the same guild, free company, not guild technically, and like it's like a nice beachfront property, right? It's overlooking a beach. It's this nice, beautiful zone, and just like running around the open world and seeing my neighbors' houses, the other mansions in the area, and I can see my neighbor in his house. Like, hey, what's up, man? What are you up to? Just like having that persistence there, where it's not just one stupid zone where I go.
Okay,
into,
but you
there's
can
nobody
also
else
do
there.
that
It makes
with. You can also do that with instanced housing because, like, Lord of the Rings Online has instanced housing, but it's instanced neighborhoods and it scales.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what kind of Final Fantasy does as well. The neighborhoods are instance, but
But the point is, anyone can get a house in Lord of the Rings. You know, like that's the difference.
Yes, it can be done better. It can be done better.
Do you know what game has good housing? Rift. Very customizable. I don't know if you got that far, Matt.
Not yet.
Okay, yeah. So maybe
It's casual pace.
Yeah, it works pretty well in Rift too.
I like open world housing. I like that idea, honestly.
But Final Fantasy doesn't have it though. It has the instance housing and it scales, which is it's better than just like a mindless one house zone. It's better than that, but it's not like in a persistent world. I feel like it'd be cooler in a persistent world, but nobody's like really figured that out to make it work really well. Recently.
What I was gonna get at is like, what value does it have if all you did was buy a plot before someone else did? I mean,
but that applies to real world too.
No, but you don't want to copy the mundane in the real world and just say like a game should do it because the real world does it. Like I really think the days of persistent like limited housing like that are gone. Unless we're talking like a space sim with like a million planets and like so it's basically unlimited.
But the point I was trying to get to, okay, using another example that Omer has already discredited. In Black Desert, the guild houses, you have to fight over them. Like you have to take the city to have the open world guild house. That has value because you actually took it in combat. It's not because it's an open world thing. It's because it has meaning because your guild took it. I mean, they literally took it. But it also
exists in the open world. That's another bonus too. It's both. It's both. You earned it and it exists in the world. Other people
that's
can
just
see
a
it while
bonus.
walking.
I mean, I don't see the value in being the first one there because if you're playing from day one and there's a limited housing market, you automatically have an advantage over everybody that joins a year later, which is counterintuitive because you're going to have people that are going to quit because they're not able to get housing. There are always going to be those people.
I think as long as you have some kind of system set up the way you can, like a housing market, like an actual in-game housing market that you can actually trade and buy houses, I don't really think there's a big problem there. Like because
they will be unfair, as Matt said. There will be
here's
some
the thing: is you're gonna say it's gonna be unfair, right? But think of it this way: when I bought my house in Final Fantasy, there were no houses there, right? But the amount of money that I spent on that house is like, even though it's less than like someone would spend now, it was still a lot of money when I bought it. Does that make sense? So like because like there's inflation, like when other people go to buy their house, so like the same house now, like if you were to buy like. So I bought my house.
The best areas are scarce. Forget the actual currency itself. The actual like good spots. That's because like in a persistent world housing, there's only so many good spots, right? That are near the big cities, and those it doesn't matter like what you spent on those. Once they're gone, they're gone.
I feel like that adds like value, like I said, to the housing. I mean, like if you want to get like a nice place, I feel like you should save up for it, and then when you do it,
it's not about saving up. Matt is saying, and I think correctly, it does impose a problem where the guy who plays the game on beta. And he's the first one to farm like a million gil. And he's like, he just played the game before you did, right? And he got the best area. And like all the best areas will be gone when any new player comes in like 6 months after the game launches. So all the good housing spots are gone. So you should join the game 6 months later. No matter how much you farm, you can't get a house in a good area unless you pay a crazy amount that the guy's asking for his existing house. But you can still place a house like in the boonies, in the jungle where nobody wants to go.
Yeah.
It does create a system of unfairness, but I think that unfairness is okay. I don't think it's gonna ruin the experience. Because even though I was the first to play Ultima Online. Forget Ultima Online. I don't want to bring up old examples. I think that game did do housing pretty well, but it still had that same issue of all the good areas being taken. But as long as the persistent world is big enough, and you can still place your house somewhere, even if it's a less desirable location, I think it's okay. As long as there's room to place your house in a persistent world, and you don't necessarily have to have the great spots to make it worthwhile. Because even if you get a house in the boonies, you kind of work towards buying a plot of land in a nicer spot, and it gives you another reason to play the game. And another money sink.
I mean,
I think
they
there's-
might add something in the boonies,
Yeah.
you know? And then,
Yeah, exactly. That's where the new content might be. You know, you never know.
I think that the only system that I think works for open world housing is one in there's one like there is in Albion Online, I think it is, where you buy a month of time with it, and after every month it goes back up for auction, and everybody has to bid on it, and you can bid on your house again, but you're going to have to bid against other people for your house again.
yeah, but
That's a fair market system.
you have to keep moving and stuff like all the time. Like you don't really have the same.
Unless you're willing to pay up every time, for like tons of money for your house. But that's to combat the scarcity factor. I think games can have, if your housing zone is persistent and big enough, I think that prevents that problem.
I think if the housing zone
there.
is, I think the housing zone is persistent and big enough, though, it introduces another problem wherein the housing zone is literally worthless for anything except housing.
But if it seamlessly integrates with the open world, like
It wouldn't then. Like
it could potentially work.
Like Dark Age of Camelot had that too. It had persistent housing, but in separate housing zones.
But then you can overcome that by getting rid of housing zones. You can just place it in the world
The actual
itself.
world.
Yeah,
But that causes the scarcity problem in the first
That won't
place.
happen.
yes,
That'll
the
never
scarcity
happen
problem.
again.
I don't think you fix it.
Oh, that will never happen again in a non-sci-fi MMO where you have a billion
Probably.
planets. Can't happen. Won't happen.
I mean, look, some game might do it.
And
We
here's
haven't
why.
seen
And
it.
here's why. If you guys are watching a video I'm playing,
Right.
there's a Rift video, and in Rift, basically, you have your own little, area for housing, right? So and you can invite people there, but it's not part of the world. It's like it's instance basically. And the creativity people do, like there's modern looking houses, there's like floating islands, there's all this modern decor, right? This stuff would ruin the actual story in the actual game, right? Like in the actual persistent world. But
Sure,
people
yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
doing
Might have-
this, right?
yeah.
Like, you know, these very modern looking villas and stuff. So
Yeah.
it'll only work in a sci-fi game where anything can go. Basically, you can have a dungeon, you can have a floating castle. Doesn't matter, you know. Cause it's
When it
sci-fi.
comes to immersion, I don't think housing can break player immersion, even if there's some
What?
silly things you can put in your house.
Housing breaks immersion all the time. If you have something that looks modern in a strictly medieval world,
Yeah.
it's like a sore thumb in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, imagine you got some peasants dragging carts around, right, like in Black Desert, and then and then to the side of one of the cities is like just like a modernist cube mansion.
No, you can
Like a
make
house
the.
based on Art Deco, all off to the side.
Here's what I mean. When I say you can't break, like the exterior of the house can be like fixed, right? It can fit the world.
Oh.
But when you go inside, I don't care what it looks like on the inside. Let's say the inside looks modern because the guy has a cool tiles that he made. Like I don't think that matters if the inside is, you know.
But
'cause
pe-
by
But then
default,
you're telling them by default that they can't have a control over the outside, which then takes away the player customization that they love in
Yeah,
Rift.
yeah,
That's what
you-
he's saying.
Yeah, well, they
Yes.
can suck a dick over that.
yeah,
to be
exactly. You
honest.
can't you can't have everything, right? You can't have there's
Okay,
some
you can't have
compromise there.
everything. Open world
my
housing
house
is dead. I'm
outside
calling it.
Look like my house in real life.
But listen, I really wanted to, again, it's my nostalgia talking. Aaron is probably right in saying that we're not going to see a system that really gets everything we want, because Star Wars Galaxies and Ultima Online handled persistent world housing in the real world. Like there's no special zone for it. It was in the open world. And it did create problems of scarcity in good locations, but you could always find a place for your house in a shitty location. There was always shitty locations available, but the scarcity in good locations, I think it was players didn't really mind that. It always gave you something to look forward to. And you always felt inside was kind of unfair that one asshole got the great spot before you even started playing. But I feel like that wasn't enough to turn you away from the game because everything else is cool too.
No, but here's the thing.
And-
This is
Yeah.
The guy who's got
this is why.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, I keep cutting people off. So go.
The guy who has his house in the middle of nowhere in Ultima Online, he didn't enjoy
Yeah.
going back and forth from there. If he just had a house in his pocket he could go to, he'd be happier. As for the guy,
No, he wouldn't, because
Hold up.
he wouldn't, because he had the house in his pocket anyway. He could teleport to it.
not everyone could.
He had
do
the option to teleport to it.
but-
Yes, they could. Literally everyone could
And-
teleport
okay.
with a scroll, and
Right.
everyone did do that.
that. And the people with the persistent housing in the nice spots, okay, this worked back then in Ultima Online stuff, because when a game came out
And
back
Star Wars
then,
Galaxies.
right, you had a couple thousand players. No one knew what they were doing, right? Today, if let's say some game came out like a Sword Art Online, whatever, okay. The second you push the enter key to log in on day one in open beta, and you log in, you're gonna see a guy on a dragon mount, level 100. The top 10% of spots, taken instantly before you get level 2.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Yes, that happens. That always happens. Yes, the power gamers will always
that
be
doesn't
the
always
maximum
happen.
in the best spots.
That doesn't always happen. It didn't happen in the era of gaming that you're referring to because
it does today.
Exactly, it happens today. And that's
Okay.
why I don't see it working today.
But what is the do you not look at the alternative where you have games like Twin Saga, which by the way, the game is fine and the writing is hilarious, right? But the housing system in Twin Saga is what we've seen in so many games today, where you have a pocket house. You know, you click a button, you teleport to your house, and you can decorate it, put stuff in there too. But it loses context and meaning when it doesn't exist in the world. It's just like a room that exists in like the corporeal world. You click a button, you teleport to it. I'd rather have a house in the middle of nowhere that's in a persistent world than one I just click a button to teleport to.
I don't think that's true. I think most people would prefer to have the instant teleport house.
Do you think people? I don't think people get any joy out of housing in so many MMORPGs because it exists in such a silly
I
way.
disagree. If you have customization options like Rift,
I think you're
they enjoy
talking
it.
based solely on nostalgia and not based on what people actually.
Possibly, but I mean, if people are telling me that they love the housing in Twin Saga, I will eat my words. But I don't think anyone
Twin
cares about the
Saga
housing in Twin
maybe
Saga.
not, but Twin Saga is a different issue entirely because you literally have no control over the way that your house or the interior actually looks. You just place furniture in there,
Yeah.
so you get a little bit of that personalization, but you still are stuck with the overall vibe of that place.
Omar, are you watching
So
the
that's
video
a
I'm
different
playing?
issue.
Like, if you can see like some of the cool. I mean, it's very clear to me that there was a lot of love put into these houses, right? The design. So you can't say these just because they're instants, the people aren't valuing them because they put so much.
No,
effort
I
into
agree.
And I mean, you got to also take into account how long this takes. Like,
Yeah.
this takes a while to get it perfect.
In Rift, could you again? Because I didn't play Rift. In Rift, can you do the houses exist in neighborhoods or are they just
No,
instants?
they're just instants that you just teleport to them.
just by themselves. Like there's no other houses in that area. Just that house.
You own the whole area, not just the house. You own the land too.
Oh,
like an
okay.
island.
Yeah, you own the whole.
All right, and we are back. Sorry for that hard break there. We had some technical difficulties, and they are solved now, hopefully.
I think right before we got disconnected, we all agreed how correct Remo was about the housing discussion, how incredibly handsome he is today. I feel like that was what we were on.
You know,
when we
what
were
I
about to
think we
transition.
were closer to telling Omer that he was purely running off of nostalgia and needed to shut up.
And one problem with owning or being a homeowner, you know, you got to watch out for the power. You know, you got to pay the bills.
There you
The
go.
power
There
can
you
go
go.
out. You know, it's all on you. I think
It's
MMOs
very
don't
annoying.
adequately capture the maintenance cost, and work goes into a homestead.
Imagine you have to pay your bills. You go in your player housing. There's taxes sitting on your.
Some games do that. I think Dark Age of Camelot was the first to do it. You had to pay a bill to keep your.
That didn't last.
Your taxes. Gotta pay the taxes.
Does Final Fantasy do that? Is it like a monthly?
No.
Or, okay.
I don't think so. All right. Before we get off housing, people did say Elder Scrolls actually just revealed their housing system. There's a trailer for it. And Elder Scrolls Online is getting their housing in February of 2017. It is also jumping to the pack. 40 unique stylized homes with over 2,000 decorative items. So that's another game throwing their hat into the ring, and we'll see how that pans out.
Wow, when are you going to step it up?
Yeah, right? You technically have those, what are they called?
Garrison.
Garrisons.
Yeah.
I was going to say Stronghold too, but Garrison is correct. But yeah,
Everyone hated them.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, kind of cheesy. And what were you saying about Pokemon and cheating?
All right. So an observation I made lately is people try super hard to justify cheating. It's insane. It's like it almost is the point that like it's becoming accepted because people.
Sure, you're a robot.
Yeah, Shu.
You're a robot.
Sure, you are a genuine robot.
I am?
surprised-
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
You're like
robot.
Magnemite.
Am I really?
Sure,
Now
get
you're
those
good again.
Magnemites
Oh,
out
it's
of your
good. It's
butt.
good now. It's good now.
I got.
Well,
never
that's
mind.
Spanish.
You're full Magnemite mode.
Let's go.
All
I'm
right.
not doing anything.
It
Sure,
sounds
you're
hilarious.
full on Magnemite. It's hilarious. The chat is spamming Mr. Destructoid.
I'm gonna be fine.
I have no idea what you're saying.
I have no idea, but it sounds hilarious. All right. All right. While she was gone, we talk all the smack about her.
All
She
right.
sounds like a robot.
Well, she was going on about Pokemon, so I'll get my Pokemon news in before she does.
All right.
So this on this Thursday, there's gonna be a big patch for Pokemon Go, everyone's favorite
I'm
mobile app
done with Pokemon Go.
everyone's favorite mobile app of the weekend. You know. So,
Mhm.
100 new Pokemon, Gen 2, and this is interesting, is they're going to do a massive promotion with Starbucks. Basically, every Starbucks, at least in America, is going to be either a Pokestop or a gym. And they're making a special Frappuccino, the Starbucks Pokemon Go Frappuccino. And it's going to be an item in the game.
Is it okay now?
You're good.
I think it was Discord, dude. I'm gonna leave Discord.
No,
it's gonna happen.
all right.
It's okay, I think.
It was giving me trouble connecting as well, but like my internet's fine.
You're still kind of robotic, like, but it's not as bad as before.
Am I really?
Yeah, it's still pretty bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
it's
you're
pretty
just
bad.
auto-tuned.
I mean, the only person there to blame is Loki for playing Overwatch.
All right.
That's about it.
So I guess you'll just chill until it hopefully fixes itself soon. So I'm looking at this Frappuccino thing. Is it made of like Pikachu tails or something? What is the Pokemon like?
All the
like,
dead
mix in?
forgotten Pokemon.
It's made from. It's got vanilla bean powder, scoops of freeze-dried whole blackberries, and raspberry syrup.
But there's like no context with Pokemon. It's just like I guess it's a nice promotion to bring people into the stores. That's
Yeah.
smart though. You know,
And
people are gonna do it.
Here's the funny thing. I bet Starbucks paid so much money for this.
Millions,
Yeah,
definitely.
millions.
I think it's worth it though, because it'll bring a lot of kids to Starbucks. Like, because I feel like a lot of people that are still playing Pokemon Go, like a lot of the older people, like our age and like probably our viewers, all probably jumped on Pokemon Go when it first came out, and most of us kind of stopped playing.
Pokemon
right?
Go sucks.
There you go.
Wow,
I'm sure
everyone
you're
is so
by the way.
quick on the hate train. Isn't it still number 1 on the charts?
Yeah, it's still making shit tons of money. But the
Yeah.
point is, I think a lot of our group of our age audience kind of left, but a lot of younger people are still playing and just jumping on it. So it's great for Starbucks to get the younger
Okay,
audience
first
too,
of all,
hooked
I
on
don't
the
think
fraps.
it's not just younger people still playing it. I'm still playing it. No,
Yeah.
clearly not like
It can't just be.
yeah, not like 8 hours a day, but I'm playing it. Like
All right,
It can't be
Alright,
just younger people playing it because it's still making too much money for that.
that's true. Younger people don't necessarily have the funds for
Exactly.
it.
All right, let me talk about cheating. All right, let me talk
All
about
right, go ahead, have at it.
All right, so I've noticed that a lot of gaming communities lately, like especially that one cheat.
Sure, you can't do
it's
it.
so
You're too-
funny.
you're still-
It starts well when you start, like it's and then for some reason as you talk, it
It's a
gets worse.
conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. The cheaters are preventing me from talking about this.
All right, she was getting hacked sword. It's not working.
Dude,
but I
my speed test is perfectly fine.
All right,
I
anyway,
don't know. I think it's
it's
Discord.
bad. It's bad. Anyway, I think she was gonna bring up cheating, and I think it is a logical transition to. I think our main discussion point of the day. If anyone wants to take that,
South Korea is going to start arresting hackers.
yeah.
Oh, baby.
Basically, what happened
Link it up.
was, hold on, I'll link it up in just a second. Here we go. Here's our big old link. We actually got a picture, a rare image of a professional hacker too.
Oh,
if you guys,
wow.
If you guys ever
Where'd
see
you
something
capture
like
this?
this, be careful. I was peeking in people's windows as I often do in the evening, and I found this guy hacking.
Yeah.
So basically,
How do
according
you tell
to
he was
the
hacking?
site PvP, he was wearing a ski mask.
Okay, there you go. That's fair.
That's how you know. So the parliament over in South Korea, they amended a game industry law that made the creation and distribution of gaming hacks illegal. Basically, as far as I understand it, any violation of a game's terms of service is basically illegal, and the fine is payment of up to $43,000 or 5 years in jail. When I first saw this, I laughed because this is ridiculous. But South Korea this isn't the first kind of oddball gaming law that comes out of South Korea. A few years back, South Korea made it. They set a limit on how often someone under the age, I think it was 16, can play an online game. But the issue with this, if we're reading it correctly, because I don't think any of us read Korean, is that what's in a terms of service agreement is often very vague. Now, this doesn't mean it's
I want to correct one thing. You
What?
you kind of have a problem with the wording in your article. It's not the TOS itself. It's programs that violate the TOS. Or
Okay, yeah,
scripts.
you're right.
It has to be basically code that violates the TOS.
Okay.
Not like conduct or like, like by.
But see, the thing is, would let's say a game doesn't allow DPS charts.
Yeah,
And
that
that'll
would
be doing
violate
arrest-
it.
Yes, you would get
This is a
arrested.
code
Yes, that would violate a DPS chart would violate the law in this case. But if it says
I'm
you
not
cannot
really
swear, then that wouldn't.
Okay, fair enough. You're right. So I should
Unless you download a third-party program that gives you hotkeys for swearing.
Yes,
in which
that would
case
be
it
illegal.
would violate the law. That would be illegal under Korean law, which is mind-numbingly insane. Why do they have to use the law to have private companies
this was
enforce their own rules. It makes no sense.
The last thing their president decided to try and push through here before she gets impeached.
And we here on the MMOs podcast are always honest and we never lie and we tell you the facts. So here is a screenshot of the Korean legislation, and none of us read Korean, but we're gonna pretend that this says what we just said it says. And if anyone out there does speak Korean or read Korean and it doesn't say that,
listen. You guys may not be aware of this, but I'm actually a constitutional law scholar in Korea, specifically in Korean. All right, I have a very advanced law degree in Korea, and that says exactly what we wrote on MMOs.com. Just like we got an exact picture of a hacker at the thumbnail on our MMOs.com article with the ski mask. All right, so never question what you read on MMOs.com. All right, we only publish the truth, our version of the truth, but the truth nonetheless.
I know some people, when they first read this, were worried this would set a precedent for other countries. I think it's safe to say, unless one of you guys wants to disagree, I don't think this is actually going to be enforced in the way that maybe people are interpreting it. Maybe this will apply to somebody who runs a business selling hacks.
Yep. Exactly.
But this is not going to apply to like me downloading a MapleStory hack and then SWAT like busts through my window, puts an M4 to the back of my head and says, "You sick SOV."
Gumbo, don't be so sure. Because already in Korea, you're right, in America it wouldn't because of logistics, right?
In America, sure.
But in Korea, to log into these games, you already have to provide your government ID number, right?
That's true.
Which is presumably linked to your address, your current address. So if you are found in violation and the game obviously tracks who's botting, like you get banned for botting, it would automatically ping the local police station, whatever, and they would either show up or send you a violation.
Wow.
notice. So the point is they could enforce it easily only because the friction is so low because everything's already automated. Whereas in America, Nexon doesn't have my address, all right?
Right.
So they don't have my ID number. The name I give them could be a fake name. Like they have no clue who I am. But in Korea, they know from that number exactly who you are, where you live.
All right, so that brings up another interesting question. What was the decline in the amount of people that sell Korean game accounts online if this starts getting enforced anywhere close to what Altai is suggesting?
Oh, I never thought of that. You would never let your friend borrow your account because if he bots using your ID number, the police show up at your house.
All right, it could also be, this is one of those issues, obviously, where the people that are creating and distributing the hacks could be the ones getting in trouble, not the users. Okay, there's no point in like going after the users, which is why you have torrent companies, like I know media companies suing the torrent websites and distributors, not the individual users, because it's not cost efficient.
That's not true.
But isn't it interesting that? But just to put out, why is it that the law seems to be so sweeping? Like, if your intention is to use it in one way, and to go after someone who's profiting, then why is it so sweeping to include pretty much everybody?
And the other thing is, if it's the law, and again, if it does get enforced the way Altai is suggesting, because it would be very easy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't really be a matter of cost efficiency because it would be coming out of the government's pocket anyways. They'd have to reinforce their own law that they just put in place.
However, I think we were also misreading the law. It says, based on this law, according to our source, PB Live, based on this law, manufacturing and distributing programs that are not allowed by the game company and its terms of service is not directly illegal. Now, that only says manufacturing and distributing, not using it.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, but that's only what they've interpreted so far.
Yes. Well, I mean, none of us can read Korean. I think unless somebody's got a better source here.
We need a Korean.
We need a Korean. Give me a resident Korean in here. Stat. But I think we can all agree that the concept of like a private company, the government enforcing like these kind of things in a game, this seems kind of silly. Like
an overreach of government powers. Yeah.
Yeah. However, let's entertain this thought for a moment and let's actually expand this idea. Canaris actually said. All right. Canaris, for example.
Before we move on.
All right, go ahead, say it.
So that's only true if you work under the implication that the game is not affecting other people. I mean, in MMOs, when you use a hack, you are affecting other people, even if it's only in the context of a game.
Yeah, if you kill me in Counter-Strike, you're ruining my fun. I'm supposed to kill you. But that's a game, It's not like the real world.
Yeah, but you're still affecting someone else's experience of the game, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, in a game.
So you could make the so say somebody gets belligerent, like at a theme park or something. They're just yelling. They're literally just yelling. They're gonna throw them out, right?
Yeah, and they're allowed to do that. It's their private, their property.
So it's the same concept because they're affecting the way that people are enjoying the theme park, even if all they're doing is yelling.
which is why the theme park has the option of kicking them out. They can't get arrested for it. Being belligerent is not necessarily a crime.
But what I'm saying is, they're making a legal. They're making a legal precedent for attitude or behavior like that to not be tolerated online in online games. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, and I personally think it's a silly reach of government power to in a private setting. It's like saying if you say mean things on a forum, or if you like don't follow the forum's rules, you should get banned. Or like if you have, it just seems silly at first glance, and I don't want to argue the meritless of the silliness, but
I don't think it's silly. You can say your piece.
All right. The point I want to get to, let's take this idea and expand it further. Okay. So first of all, I do want to emphasize the law as we're reading it on the PvP Lives interpretation that we linked to. It has nothing to do with cheating. You know why? Because you're allowed to cheat. It doesn't say you can get in trouble with the law. It says manufacturing and distributing the hacks is illegal, not using them. However, if we assume that using the hacks also becomes illegal, and Canary said something interesting in our chat that he wouldn't mind if an aimbotter in Overwatch got banned and put away for 5 years. How do you guys feel about that? How do you? Hold on. I think I actually wouldn't mind myself either if some asshole in Counter-Strike hacks and gets
Are you
arrested.
shitting me?
Provided he knew it before he did it. He knew that it was illegal. I think our gaming experiences as a whole would be better if people weren't hacking.
I think your prescription to 5 years is kind of arbitrary.
Fucking 5 years is fucking 5 years.
Forget the prescription. I'm wrong. Fine. I don't know the exact number, right? However, if cheating in online games becomes illegal and enforced through either a fine or some short-term imprisonment, I think my personal enjoyment of gaming would increase. One, I'm not hacking, right? And I have no intention of ever cheating in online games. I did when I was 12, and I knew there was no consequences for it, which is another reason I did it. But I think I'd have more fun in online games if nobody else was cheating either. And I think most people would actually benefit by an all-encompassing law like that, which obviously this is not covering.
You really think? Remember, this fine, it only applies to the people who get caught.
Yeah, of course.
To tell me that somehow this is going to curb the overall hacking market seems absurd. Maybe it deters.
Okay,
like,
let me.
little Johnny Sunshine, but it's not going to deter somebody who actually knows how to create and distribute hacks.
I'm defending hacking.
There's another.
One at a time, guys.
All right, I'll sit down again.
Matt, Altai, then Shu. Okay, Matt, Altai, then Shu.
Okay, so there's another, like you said, it's only if they get caught, right? And what I learned from playing Black Desert, especially, anything client side, people are going to take advantage of it, but they're only going to do it every now and then. They're going to do it like once, they're going to not do it for a week. They're going to do it once, they're going to not do it for a week because they don't want to get caught. So when the companies are going through and doing their ban lists, right, there's going to be a little bit of erratic behavior for a little bit, but like it's not going to look suspicious. It's just going to look like something happened because they've only done it for like a little bit at a time, and they get away with it at that time. And even in Black Desert, where I'm pretty sure they had a pretty like massive push to get rid of like hackers, you know, there were still people getting away with it because they don't do it a lot.
Matt, you're arguing it's detectability and stuff, but if it's a crime that can be punishable by jail time, it's not even a civil offense; it's a criminal offense. Less people, steal stuff because they might go to jail. I think it would make people consider and think twice about it.
I don't think less people pirate simply because they're going to go to jail.
No,
you can't go to jail. You can't go to jail for piracy. That is a civil offense, and there's no jail time.
You know what I mean, though.
But that's a huge difference.
Well, not only that, but like if you get a notice, like I know a lot of people have gotten notices, right, for like torrenting, like hey, this is your internet service provider. Like we found out you're doing this shit, and this company says knock it the fuck off. Most people will either stop doing it or find a way to make it so they can't find out that you're doing it, like a proxy. Yes. Right? People don't just get those notices and be like, you know what, fuck you, fuck the system, I'm gonna keep doing it. They get scared. Most people do, and that's all you need, really. You just need to scare them. You don't really need to like, hard enforce it. Like, I mean, I'm not saying this happened to me or anything, but if it happened to me, I would have stopped doing it or used the proxy. Don't quote me on that. It's
All right, boys. Here
All right, go ahead.
Time to defend hacking and botting and whatever. Okay.
Go ahead, defend it.
Okay. So when I think what was the first game we cheated or hacked in? Maybe StarCraft or
probably Math hacked in StarCraft.
Yeah. Okay. That's what taught me that games aren't real life. Okay, and here's what I mean by that.
You didn't know before then? You
No,
thought...
listen. But what I mean is like, it's not like a set. It's not like they're not bound by the same laws. Like, and the laws are not consistent. So what I mean by this is, I used to take games seriously. I get frustrated. I still did a couple years after that too. Obviously, it took a while, but games basically reset. Like nothing's permanent. And cheating kind of taught me that. Like you can get all the stuff by cheating in the game. You get banned. You start over. And the fact that I can cheat and hack and dupe all that stuff into existence showed me that what other people have they don't actually have anything. It's just part of the game, right? It's not real life. So I think we need cheats to keep games in perspective. It's just a game. If that makes any sense.
No.
I think you guys in your learning life lessons from video games is a very isolated thing.
I think a lot of people learn life lessons in video games, whether it's just social.
Not video games in
encounters
general,
or-
but I think MMORPGs and specifically. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yes.
You
I think a lot of
socialize in
people get
them.
something.
You know.
I have
trade.
never learned a single life lesson from a video game or interactions with anyone in a video
Really?
game.
Really? Like
Really?
you've never been scammed and then been like, you
Yep.
know, I'm
I
never.
think you
never-
No,
might be an
I've
isolated
never been
experience.
scammed because I'm not a dumbass.
Well, that's an
Wow.
insult to anyone that's ever been scammed, because I think most people at one point in their MMORPG or gaming career have gotten scammed. Because I've gotten scammed when I was a lot younger. That taught me a lesson. But I think it's a very normal experience for people to develop and learn through online engagements with people. Whether it's, really anything, social skills, life skills.
That being said, I don't really agree with this whole learning a life lesson from people hacking against me.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
Just
Like,
I don't
no.
agree.
like you guys seen those videos, like of a guy, losing to a hacker in Counter Strike and going ballistic, like hacker.
Yeah, of course, of
Like-
course,
like-
of course.
If that happened to me today, I'd just be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, he's floating around and killing him in one shot. That's, whatever. And I would just move on. Like, it's not like,
It's not whatever though. It ruins the game. Like you
Yeah,
have no
it ruins
control.
everyone else's game.
You have no
Okay,
control over it. So if you
okay.
get
I want
scammed,
I want to clarify because I see people
Okay.
in chat going on about it. If you could learn something like teamwork from people, right? You could. I mean, that's just interacting with people in general. Whereas you may not have had that kind of interaction before, or you may not have had like a positive interaction in the workplace, and you learn how to work together with people that you're not having that you have differences with, because it's just a different setting, and it may have been something that was conducive to you learning that. But I don't think that like actual life lessons come from video games. That's what I was saying.
life.
Depends on the definition of a life lesson.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know what you mean by life lesson exactly. But I think also it depends on your age, right? If you start playing MMORPGs when you're like 16, you probably learned your life lessons by then. But for me, one of the first times I got scammed, I was like 10 or something, and this guy's
Yeah.
like, hey, listen, give me gold, and I will do this for you. I'm like, oh, somebody said this. People don't lie. The only people I interacted at that point were like
family.
teachers,
Yeah.
So I just took his word for it. The fact that he could be lying to me, the thought didn't cross my mind until I got scammed.
All right, let's not take this away from life lessons, because I do want to say, I think personally, I would have more fun in every game I play online if it was illegal to cheat, hack, and all that stuff. I think my experience would be benefit. I don't think government has that role to do all that enforcement that would think it'd be silly, but I think I would just enjoy games more. I think it'd be a net positive if they did do that, though.
But here's the problem you make.
Again, you have a fundamental assumption in what you're saying.
Look,
Oh,
mods.
Gumby, hold on. Gumby, do you enjoy when your opponent hacks in
No,
Counter-Strike?
don't try to change the topic here. The
No.
point is your whole reasoning there is flawed, because there's no way that government intervention is ever going to stop hackers.
Okay, yeah,
Ever.
assuming...
Sure,
Oh,
sure.
hold on,
Would games
okay.
be more enjoyable without cheaters and hackers? Yeah,
Yes.
of course, because everyone's on a level playing field. At the same
Do
time,
you
what?
think the rule would reduce, increase,
No.
or keep same the number of hackers?
I think the rule is fundamentally retarded.
Will it reduce,
I think it's a total,
increase, or
a
keep
total
the same?
perversion of
Will
government
it reduce,
responsibility.
keep
I
it the
think, I
same,
think it will
or
deter.
increase hackers?
I think it will deter casual people.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it
Less
will do
hackers. Less
absolutely
hackers.
nothing to affect the overall hacking market. The people who actually care and go out of their way to hack, that won't change. It'll
think it would
change. Like
a lot.
I wouldn't hack in War Z, a game I did hack in, if I knew I could go to jail. But the guy who makes the hacks is still going to make them. People are still going to do it. It's also not. There's nothing. It is not the responsibility of government at all. It's ridiculous.
Okay, again, that's a philosophical argument. I agree with you. I don't think
Sure.
this is... I think it's silly. I don't think
You know what
government
I
should
think
do it.
is
But
super boring? Playing a game the way the developers meant it to be played. So, for example, in whether it's Overwatch, League, Dota, whatever, StarCraft, Like I remember having so much fun trying to find bugs, trying to find exploits in MMORPGs. Find that dupe. Like find that weird trick. Like where
That weird trick the developers don't want you to know about.
whatever.
I
Like,
know.
no, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like gold. I remember in Ultima Online, and I'm sure you guys did this in Final Fantasy and stuff in different games. There was like these one NPC in town that spawned with black sandals, right? But you couldn't kill him and take it because he was in town, right? And the guards would kill you instantly. So what Omar and I would do is we would lure a bear into the building, then get the bear to provoke the bear with a skill to kill the NPC, and then the guards would kill us, but not the bear. So the bear would kill the NPC. We'd come back and loot it. And we got suspended for doing this because it was an exploit. But like stuff like that is like what makes games, and mods actually develop by the same people who look for exploits via hacks and bots and cheats. So we might not have games like Dota or even Counter-Strike if we didn't have the mentality of people who try to break games, who try to modify, who alter, who think of a game as more than what the developers want it to be.
How many people do you think that work in cybersecurity got started out messing around with little hacks and games and stuff? Every person I know in cybersecurity, and I've been talking to in years, is someone who used to hack games as a kid.
There you go.
And now, and that has galvanized him to become someone who works in cybersecurity. So there is a benefit. These are games. This isn't like someone's hacking my bank account. It's a game. It's.
Is that again, South Korean?
Do hackers really? Can I ask you guys a question? Have hackers ever really ruined an experience for you, like you as like a casual? Because none of us.
Yeah.
I can't say that a hacker has ever like destroyed my experience in playing it. Sure, it's been frustrating.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've dealt with plenty of hackers in Rust and Counter-Strike, scrims, everything.
And it's not fun.
It's but it's not that it's. Sure, it's not fun. It's frustrating, but it's not like world destroying. It's
I agree. Nobody's saying
it's a minor inconvenience.
Okay,
and sometimes it's entertaining.
I mean, a guy punches you on the street once; it's still a minor inconvenience. But
that is such bullshit. That's not true at all. What are you talking about? That's physical harm. That's a minor
inconvenience.
Yeah, your life goes on, right?
The fuck are you talking? Minor inconvenience.
What? It's some guy on the street.
I'm suffering bodily harm.
But that's still a minor inconvenience.
What are you talking about?
Hold on.
Are you on crack?
Hold on. I'm taking Matt's example. I'm gonna push it. I want to answer for you, Sean. A guy walks up to you on the street and shoves you. You fall on the floor.
Yeah, that's physical harm.
Yeah, you have. This
is not minor.
And he moves away.
You are perverting the words I'm using.
Is your world shattered?
No. But that
life goes on. Nothing happened. There's no permanent damage. You're not emotionally ruined. Whatever. Life goes on.
No, you feel unsafe. No, if someone.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone assaults you in real life, you feel it has a psychological scar on you because you feel unsafe in your world, in your environment. You can't. That doesn't happen in a game, or shouldn't. And one way you learn not to take a game seriously as physically harming you is by realizing it's a game and an abstract and not part of the not part of physical reality. I think hacks help you learn that.
I just want to be clear. I'm not taking a side on this right now because I don't really know where this is going yet, so I can't take a side. But anyways, I mean, it's just a law right now. Nobody knows how it's going to be used. Mm-hmm. But I do think that under certain circumstances, again, you have to take into account how other people see the hackers affecting them and whether or not South Korea saw that this might have been a necessary thing, especially with how prevalent online gaming is in South Korea and PC bangs or bongs and all that. I mean, it's not just about how you see it. It's about how everyone sees it. And whether or not you see that minor inconvenience, I mean, if you see that as a minor inconvenience, someone else might see it as literally ruining the game for them. And again, it's just basically how the people in South Korea saw it and how they ended up wanting to respond to it. I mean, we don't know anything about the context.
No,
it's all subjective.
I actually buy Matt's argument, and here's where I'll speculate on what the South Koreans were thinking. They don't give two rats' ass about one guy, facing off against a hacker in Counter-Strike and getting his day ruined. No one cares about that. At least on the government scale. What they care about is concerted efforts by major Chinese companies ruining their major export games like MapleStory, Dungeon Fighter Online. These are big cash cows for South Korea. And there's a concerted effort by large groups in China to basically overwhelm the economy and market for these games for profit, for money, and that money comes directly out of the pocket of South Korean companies. So this is entirely a business on business kind of decision. They're not targeting they don't care if people get griefed or trolled and hacked. Like
Right.
that is not
Right,
not their concern.
Final thoughts on this year, all right? Final thoughts, and let's move on. I'll take a side. I think I don't think they should be doing this. But I do think that if it was enforced, I think my gaming experience would be better overall. If nobody hacked and cheated, I think I would have a better pleasant time online. But I don't think they should do it, and I think it's silly. And I don't think it's going to really affect anything as is anyway, because it only affects in South Korea. The guys that distribute the hacks will be in China or somewhere else. And at the end, nothing's going to change. But it'd be nice to see no hacks online. But I'd like to see the problem solved through cybersecurity and game engines and stuff. What? Aaron enjoys getting drop hacked in League or Dota, I guess, because that's always fun. You know, you're playing a game for 30 minutes, you're winning, and you get drop hacked. Yeah, that's I guess he got me that time.
Let me tell you about the
life
Tibetan
doesn't end,
monks.
but it's
Let me
annoying.
tell you about some monks in Tibet. Okay, they spend weeks, months making these little decorations out of sand, individual sand particles.
Yeah. I saw House of Cards. I was seeing on that.
And do you know what they do when they finish making it?
They just destroy it. I know.
They wipe it away and start over. So if I get drop hacked in a game, okay.
But here's the thing. They cleanse the palette. They close it. They chose to do it. While they're doing it, somebody walks up to them and just
they chose to do it to teach themselves not to take things, to take life as a permanent.
That monk would punch you in the face if you walk up to his if you walk up to the piece of art and just slap him and just ruin it.
I don't think so.
I think he'd punch in the face.
Like, just save me some work. I was gonna clean that up later.
All right, final thoughts. Anybody else have any departing words on the hack issue in Korea?
It's beyond stupid.
Yeah,
But I don't think anything will come of it.
I kind of agree that it'd be better if there were less hackers, but it's not really the government's job to regulate that.
All right, fair.
And fun fact, guys, the picture I've been showing is a picture from the South Korean parliament, the same parliament that passed this law. And in this picture, they're having a rowdy discussion over.
Is that a discussion?
Over
a rowdy discussion. You got to see the guy standing on the desk. He got scammed in Maple Story by the guy with the laptop on the right, all right? And he's going at it. I like it. All right. I want to bring up a small, topic about Shu's favorite game. I don't know if she saw the article yet. But Fake Grand Order made its way. Made a mention on Bloomberg? It's making it to the big leagues.
I wanted to talk about that. So there's actually they released a new trailer. You probably shouldn't play it. I'll link it for everyone though. But they released a new trailer for an anime that they're gonna have. So this is the trailer. I don't want you guys to get.
Don't play it on. Don't play on stream.
Don't play it on stream. But they have an anime for it now. So it seems to be like a huge trend of like. Mobile games get really popular and then they have an anime, and I think that's honestly a really good idea because you're promoting the game. Like this is just gonna get like more people to play the game, right? And,
Puzzle and Dragon has their own anime too, for example.
Getting pretty big. Oh wait, sorry, that is the wrong link.
But if this game is making so much money, it's actually on the Bloomberg article, it's making more money than as much money as Pokemon Go is in Japan. And this is a game that doesn't have nearly the same distribution as Pokemon Go. This is only out in Japan.
And China.
And like Pokemon Go is not available.
You want to know why though?
It's not available in the U.S. by Fake Grand Order.
It really it's like you gotta get that waifu and the odds are so fucking bad that like you just keep spending. I mean, I don't know if you guys were there. I even streamed it like during like the time when I was playing this game. I've dropped like $400 like in one sitting like on like to get like a character and I didn't even get it and it had rate up. So
my god.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So like I can see how they're making so much money. It's just really like capitalizing on like the gotta have my wife, type of a thing. So
actually pretty interesting. I know we know how big obviously the company Sony is, right? And the Sony chief financial officer, he singled out the game because Sony, through their investment in Aniplex, who made the Fate series, through a partnership with the studio that made the game, obviously that money flows back to Sony. At least half of it does, because I'm sure the game maker gets a cut too. But their CFO specifically said that the game continues to affect their bottom line positively for their music division. So the whole game is like such a in the scheme of how big Sony is with their hardware, their music, their movies, with everything. this game got singled out as like it was worth mentioning by their big shots. This game's making hundreds of millions of dollars, which is insane considering it's not out in America yet either, or even Europe. It's only out in like China and Japan.
Yeah, like the rates are god awful. So it's like, it's you're only, and the thing is they really like, they have it down like perfectly, like how to. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but they have it perfectly how they're gonna exploit people to spend money. It's like they have it down like to science, or like like the odds are so shit, but it's like limited time event to get this character. If you want this character, you gotta get it now. And then it's like, and the rates are up. It's like
that's the time to do it. They get you.
But then even though the rates are up, it's still so god awful that like I said, like you can drop $400 and not get the character. And like I streamed this on MMOs.com, so it's like it's not a joke. Like it really is like that. So that's how they're making so much.
Is there something in culture, in the Asian culture, that makes it more susceptible to these kind of gotchas? Because I think one of the reasons they didn't bring this to America yet, and they will eventually, I think, but is because I don't think this exact strategy will work as well here.
Well,
like, you won't have people spending thousands.
Yeah, I mean, there's another thing too that they do where they have this is really smart. They added a support system. So like if say like you're on my friends list, right? You can put up a servant to be like your support.
A lot of games do this, yes.
Yeah, and then just that whole thing of like, like, oh man, I gotta like get this so I can have it on my support, so my friends can be like, oh, like you're so cool, you have that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's fucking crazy, dude. Mm-hmm. As far as it being like cultural, like I don't know. It's just, I mean, I can't really say much because like my family's not really typical in that sense. But I could see there being like a whole having material things,
And don't forget, the biggest gamblers they say are tend to be Asian too, like Chinese, Japanese.
Japan, it's huge. Even though gambling is like illegal in Japan, the pachinko machines is such a giant market. If you count that, it's like the biggest gaming market in the world, probably after Macau.
So is this
probably
game?
A dream,
Is this entire game just a slot machine with like cosmetics around it?
I mean, sure, you gotta give us the answer. Because...
Wait, talking Fate Grand Order?
Yeah,
yeah.
No, it actually has gameplay. It's actually pretty fun. It has really nice animations. The graphics are well done, like for a mobile game. And it has a lot of games. Like you don't have to buy. It's more if you're like the type of person that's like, I really need that character. And the Fate universe is so good for this because all the characters are like relatable, because they're relatable in the sense that it's like they're all legends. So like no matter where you go in the world, like people can understand that. Like everyone can understand King Arthur, right? Everyone can understand. Like,
Alexander the Great.
Leonidas, Alexander the Great. Like everyone can understand that, So. In that sense, it's not like just some rando where you're like you're trying to push like if someone will like it or not, right?
Yeah.
So,
and if you want to play Fate Grand Order, guys, shoot over a guide on MMOs.com how to install and play Fate Grand Order on if you want to play it from the West, because you still can.
It's a fun game. Like if you're, don't spend shit tons of money. If you like the
game a lot, coming from you, sure. Don't spend shit tons of money.
Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly, but don't if you want to support them, sure, spend some money, but like just as long as you're happy with what you get, then re-roll a bunch or something, or message me. I'll hook you up with an account. I have like 20.
There you go, nice.
So yeah, but the gameplay itself is pretty fun. It's like kind of Pokemon typing versus like certain classes are better than others, and then they have really cool special moves. I think I linked it. Like, did we get in trouble for that? The Thomas Edison thing?
No.
We saw it earlier. It looks absolutely ridiculous. It's just weird.
It's really good. Like, check this out. I'll link it in the MMOs.com chat. Look at that ult. Thomas Edison ult.
This just looks odd and weird. Like, why is this Thomas Edison? It just makes no kind of sense to me.
I don't know.
Can I click this?
It's not much to say. It's a weird Thomas Edison thing. But yeah, that's fake Grand Order. Yeah, it's making tons of money in Japan. Hopefully it'll come out here in the West easily. Otherwise you'd still play it, Japanese version. But I think I think Matt's been playing some Bless, and Bless is still a game that's on a lot of people's radars, even though Area Games kind of had said nothing about it in forever. So, Matt, you want to talk some Bless, some Russian Bless, some Ruski Bless?
All right, yeah. So Bless came out in Russia, and there isn't actually that much different. But there are two key differences, and one of them is, first off, so the Korean version, right? In the Korean version, when you started up the game, you had to, okay, if you used an English patch, when you started up the game, you had to put the English patch into the folder before you started it up, let it patch, and then put the English patch back in the folder again. Like, copy it back over. You had to do it twice, every time you started the game up. Every single time. And because of the way that they patched Bless Korea. So now with the Russian version, there's an English patch that you can just drop the patch into the folder, run the executable, and it'll just work.
As it should. That's how most English patches work pretty decently like that.
Yeah, so it'll just work because it doesn't go through all the verification processes, because 101XP's launcher isn't the same as the one they used in Korea, and that's pretty helpful. And I'm actually playing it in English now, and I'm sort of keeping up with the story, but it's mostly machine translated. I could swear there are a few that are hand translated, a few parts of it, but it's mostly machine translated so far.
Is the whole game translated?
A lot of it, they're like system messages that aren't, but I haven't encountered anything other than system messages and a very small number of like status effects that aren't translated so far. But it is a lot of garbage translations.
Okay, my key question about the Bless. How's the music and background noise?
Oh, the music is fucking awesome. I love it.
It's Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's why.
It sets the mood perfectly. And I mean, you're going to be running around a lot of places, from like these like destroyed like shanty towns to like these desert villages that are all like, okay, I can't remember what it is. Hold on. So there's the cat race, right? And in their village, like the desert village, they have, it's like steeped in slavery and dark magic and stuff. And you've got I don't know what that instrument is, but you've got like the music to match it. You know what I mean? It feels very like dark and mystical all at the same time. And then you've got like the Venetian cities, and you've got like the German castles. I mean, it's got so many different cultures that are thrown in here, and it's crazy. And I mean, the soundtrack really pulls it all together.
So how does it play? Compare it to Black Desert,
okay.
I'd say.
Okay, it's not like Black Desert. It's a tab targeting game. It has an action combat mode, but it's just the input method. It's still a tab targeting game. And that's a misconception that I see a lot. And there's also the misconception that the combat is slow and broken, and it's really not. There's like a soft lock feature that turns into a hard lock if you start attacking that monster when you're in either mode, or if you're just like if you're near a monster, it'll have like it'll highlight them, right? And if you start using a skill, it'll automatically attack them. It doesn't give you a choice. It'll automatically attack that one once you use a skill. But yeah, it's a tab targeting game. It has an active dodge, and it has some other active movement mechanics that allow you to move around, but it is a tab targeting game, and it can feel sluggish at times. It has charge up spells and stuff, but it's not as bad as people seem to think it is. I think that a lot of the people that had a bad time with it, like a lot of people have said they just didn't take the time to learn it. It was a little different than maybe they expected. But
that's kind of a key thing. People, you can't just say people have to be willing to put the time to learn it. We live in a world where people, if you don't figure something out in like a minute, they're going to give up anyway. Yeah, it's just the natural order of things.
But I know that's the thing. But I'm just saying it's not going to be an issue if you stick with it.
I guess my question more than whether it's tap targeting, because I don't mind tap targeting. I actually prefer it, I think, in MMOs. But how does it feel? And what I mean is like, okay, like the look, the graphics, the fluid. Is it fluid?
The smoothness.
Yeah,
it is fluid.
Okay,
it's very fluid. The combat can feel a little sluggish because certain attacks have like this weird break between them. I think they've worked on that. I think they fixed that a little, and I think that the Russian version has seen some of that, but it will feel a little bit sluggish if you have certain classes. Like I thought the warrior felt really sluggish, the one with the sword and shield. It felt like every attack he put like all of his power into it and needed to like wait a second and then pull his sword back up. It felt a little odd. But every other class I've played has felt fun.
I think that smoothness and fluidity is actually like it's a make or break thing because it has to feel right when you play it. Like beyond the gameplay mechanics, beyond like the design, it just has to feel right when you're moving, when you're attacking. The whole process to be seamless, and that's got to be A+. Otherwise, I think that's an easy route for people to give up on a game right away if it doesn't feel great from the beginning.
And like I said, every other class I've played has felt fine. Since then, I think they have worked on it. I don't get the same feel exactly that I got from when I first played the Korean version. And that may just be
But is it visceral, Matt? Is it visceral? That's Shu's favorite word. We need it. Is it visceral? Does it? What do you mean?
It can be. Like when I play the assassin, like the screen shake. Like, okay, the screen doesn't shake except for like specific skills. But you attack, and you have these giant ass blood splatters that fly out of the swords, and you have all sorts of fancy skill effects with other characters. I mean, it's pretty visceral, I think. But it's tab targeting, so it's only as visceral as tab targeting can be.
Also, I mean, it's worth mentioning too. You told us earlier. You told me earlier the game was is that 54 GB installed. Like, that's insane. 54 games.
Oh yeah, that's insane. Like that's insane.
How many games today are that big? Like even like you go and install some of the biggest games.
Like
Like
45.
Okay, let me show you something. Okay, go on my Gaiatsu here, and it's gonna be. My computer is pretty bad, so it's outdated in terms of the processor, and these graphics aren't turned all the way up, and you cannot see the background. But just look at the texture on this building, the dome. Look at the texture on the dome.
And remember, if you're using Gyozo as well, it's already compressing a lot. So in game, it's going to look probably
a lot of detail there. That's not expected.
It's going to look way better in game as well because again, screenshots never look as great by default. JPEGs and stuff they get compressed, and Gyozo actually compresses a lot. So screenshots shared through Gyozo and the image service, like they do get compressed often. So I can already imagine the games look gorgeous. I've seen the 60 FPS videos that Steparo has put out. It does look good. Like visually, it looks gorgeous, and so it has potential there. But like, why is Area Games dragging their feet on this when you got the music by Hans Zimmerman? You have like there's something here, and it's already like functional in Russia, like, and they already have the license for it anyway. Like, what's stopping them from just putting something out? Like, you have a company that like Revelation, like My.com, that put Revelation Open with the game in Chinese, right? The game is not even in English yet. Like 90% of the game was like Russian and Chinese
and Russian.
Yeah, like they got the game out to closed beta and people were able to play. What is Area Games doing right now? Like they have the license. Why not just put something out that people like? Yeah, if nobody plays it, nobody likes it, and everybody says it sucks. All right, fine. You tried and you give up on it, right? But as is, they're just sitting on their hands for no reason. Like the game may not jive well with Westerners, but you got the license. Just put it out. Let people experiment and see what it is.
Well, remember,
it seems silly.
Area Games wants to overhaul the whole combat system and one of the other things, and that's I think why they're dragging their feet. Is they're not just
I still think that's an excuse.
You think that's an excuse?
I think it's an excuse. I think they're full of shit. I mean, look at their track record. I think what happened is either A, Gamigo didn't want to invest in another client MMO because they have all these browser games right now. Like Gamigo has all the browser games now, and all their client games are older games at this. Like they took on Fiesta Online, but like Omer has said in the past, it's much cheaper. I don't think it's like $5,000 like he thinks it is, but it's much cheaper than it would be to put out something like Blessed today. And I think either A, they didn't want to put the investment into it, or B, they looked at the Korean version, which isn't doing so well because I mean, it's a game.
Matt, if Area Games gives me the Western license to Remote for MMOs.com, right? If they give me the license to Bless, I can have a server up. I get the Russian client files and I just change the server to my own server. Boom, done.
Okay, but what the thing is, it's I don't think they put any work into actually localizing it by the time that we heard about this. By saying they want the combat changed first and everything, it kind of goes to show that they have not put any work into actually localizing, right? They're holding it hostage, basically. So at that time, they had only put in the licensing. So, I mean, they might have been more willing to cut their losses there than they would have been to put all the time into localizing it.
I'm just hoping we can finally play it in the West, not having to go through Russian servers. I think a lot of people just don't want to play on Russian version with the amount of people that are willing to use an English patch to play a foreign game, I feel is like so tiny. So, I mean, I hope we can play it in the West. I do want to do the Sunday Funday video for this, though, because, like you said, there's no IP block. So, playing the Russian version is not that big of a deal because you don't need to use the VPNs. But yeah, I think you guys will see.
Is the Russian version open beta or is it like closed beta?
Open
It's still
beta.
early access.
Early access.
Yeah,
It'll
early
be
access now.
open beta.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be open beta on the 8th. Right now, it's the head start. They called it early access, but it's the head start that BDO had, and you had the 24 hours per founders pack, basically.
Whoa, does it cost money?
No,
Free.
Okay.
the early access was like 24 hours per founders pack.
Oh, did you pay for an early access for the Russian version, Matt?
Nope, I got in.
Nice.
All right, you got in, snuck it in. I like it. All right, I'm eager to try it out. My expectations for Bless are kind of like nothing because it didn't really get any hype in the West. So my expectations, I'll go with like no expectations, so I could be potentially impressed. What about you guys? I'm kind of eager to try it. I've seen the Step Art trailers. It looks pretty good on 60 FPS, 1080p. It looks gorgeous.
It does look good,
I mean-
but here's the problem. I don't think it's going to come out because they picked Aria. I think Aria's going to drag their feet for as long as they have the license agreement, and they're just never going to release it.
Basically, yeah, that's what I think. I think that Area I think that the Gamigo merger killed any chance that it had of actually happening, and I think that Area may have bit off more than they're used to with this. I mean, I didn't even get to talk about the best part of the Russian version. Okay, so there's this ridiculous thing that they did with the Korean version where they lock off certain like skill slots on your hotbar, and you unlock them over time, right? And they have like passive skills that can go down there, and it's just a visual representation, but they're like passive skills, reactive skills, active skills, your ultimate type skill, and then you have another skill that basically defines your role within your class, and it provides all sorts of passives, and it basically changes. It can help you change the way you play it, and your reactive skills, I think, and some of your active skills were locked at the beginning in the Korean version, and you had to slowly unlock them through the use of different skill books as you leveled up. They would be obtained from different quests at certain like milestones, right? So in the Russian version, you don't have that. From the very moment you begin, you have all of your skill bars or skill slots open. Yeah. And the thing that makes that really useful is by the time you hit like level 15, you have more skills than can fit on your entire hotbar. So
yeah, holding that stuff hostage is such a stupid system. I think games should never hold like hotbars and stuff like hostage like that. Seems silly.
Reminds me of Star Wars Galaxy, Star Wars: The Old Republic.
I mean, I've been enjoying it. So I mean, I don't know if it's something that even like a lot of people are gonna like. It's a very specific feel. It's hard to explain. It caters to a very specific person that kind of wants action combat and a lot of PvP, but it doesn't want action combat sensibilities. Kind of a different Terra, if you will, in terms like how Terra is entirely tab targeting mechanics within an action combat setting. It's kind of the same thing, but different. Like the same area done a different way.
Well, we'll learn more when we do our Sunday Fun Day video for it. I think that'll be my first time playing it.
I have a question for Gumball. Have we done a weekly raid for thoughts on tab targeting? Because there seems to be a lot of heated dislike of tab targeted, basically.
I think because here's the reason why. All right, I'm telling you, people play Terra and people play Blade and Soul. These two games, and they realize how much fun they have with that combat, and
Terra
they want to see that in
basically
other
tab
games.
targeting to me. Like you're right about Blade and Soul. You're right about BDO.
Look,
but
Blade and
Terra,
Soul
I
for
played
me.
Terra like a few months ago, right? You played. It's
Okay.
it's just tab targeting. Come on.
Listen,
What?
I play Blade and Soul, and I realized that combat is so much more fun than a lot of tab targeting. Blade and Soul for me, the combat
Blade and
was
Soul,
awesome.
fine. Yeah, that's
For me, Blade and Soul was I think way more engaging than Terra combat. And if I want, but I realized that combat is not going to work in most games. However, like that is like the near perfect combat for an MMORPG in my opinion. If you can build a game with Blade and Soul combat and have like a lot of other good stuff around it, it could be excellent. But I think once you get a taste of that and you like it, it does feel like a downgrade to go back.
I have a quick question. I played Terra like 2 days ago. And I'm playing the swordsman class, warrior class. It's not tab targeting, nor does it feel like tab targeting.
so it feels more like BDO and Blade and Soul.
Yeah.
Really?
I never
I
got
never got that
feeling.
feeling from Terra.
With Revelation Online, I thought it was obvious, but not with Terra.
See, Terra has tab targeting mechanics that are well hidden within an action combat setting.
I thought it was very. I never felt the notion of tab target. Like I jump around my enemies. I'm dishing out attacks. Well,
but you can jump around tab targeting too. It's not.
But what I mean is, I'm not. What I'm targeting is based on where I position the camera. It's not me locking on automatically to an enemy, and I'm still maneuvering around the enemy. It's not like when I think of tab target, I think of some type of like static exchange of blows of attacks, right? Where I'm almost staying in place.
In Terra,
there's a little bit of
Final
maneuverability.
Fantasy is
can
tab
you jump?
targeting,
Can you
right?
jump
I mean,
in someone and jump back
I
and
feel
then
like it
dodge
has
attacks?
good
I don't think so.
Me too.
You know, honestly,
Well, you can if your skills support it.
In Terra.
If your
I
skills
guess that's true because my secondary skill is a dodge. So I would dodge behind enemies, in front of them, to the side, and then
You can dodge
shout
certain
attacks
like
and
skill
things like
attacks, right? With like, those little things on the ground. But like an auto attack or like a spell, I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe we'll leave this for now. I feel like we're gonna get too in deep into like what qualifies as action combat.
Speaking of action combat and fun experiences, guys, just we are approaching the end of the year, so we do want to think a bit about Game of the Year, or the coveted MMOs.com Game of the Year award. This is the very valuable that every publisher is begging us for. All right, they're offering to pay us off, but
You mean Nexon?
Wait, has people offered to pay us off, really?
No, I wish, but no, it'd be fun if they did. But Nexons are pretty aggressive with like their emails. They send me an email like, here are like our games of the year. You know, you should totally pick one of these for the game of the year. Like,
It's funny because that's not just Nexon. I used to get like 4 of those a year.
Yeah, people want us to pick their game for game of the year. But any games you guys have in mind that you consider the 2016 game of the year? Let's keep it MMO related, MMORPG related, because I feel like if we say
MMORPG,
BDO.
MMORPG,
Game of the year. Yeah.
thoughts.
BDO.
Aaron, I'll tell Aaron, it's BDO. I'm sticking by my guns. Blade of Soul. Again, it's
You're right. Game of the year 2010. You're right.
I was gonna say we argue about this all the time. It's not out in the West, so it doesn't count. But at the same time, it's been out for like 5 years, 4 years, whatever in Korea.
What came
So
out this year.
I would give it to Black Desert as far as MMORPGs go.
Yep.
What? Black Desert was game of the year in Korea in like a year before that. What are you talking about? Wasn't that in Korea first?
Yeah.
yeah, but that's a much shorter
I would
gap.
give it to BDO because it's the only game like it, and highest graphical fidelity, I'd say, and it also, to me, it kind of gave me a vision of what MMORPGs can be, and that's where, to me, I think it has too many qualities that point to a future of what more games can be like, and so yeah.
Right. Well, for the record, Black Desert Online was in closed beta testing in South Korea in 2013. All right,
Okay, fine.
If you can't count Blade of Soul,
that's not released.
Yeah, fine. When open beta came out, let's see when. Open beta came out probably 2014 then.
Anyways, what I was trying to say is, I mean, I want to give Black Desert best combat of the year, but because the mechanics were so nice, even though they weren't utilized because of the gear grind and the problems with that. But I don't know if I want to give it a.
Well, let's think about what MMORPGs came out this year. Right?
I'll tell you.
I know why people are
Creative Savior is one of them. You have Rise of Icarus. There really aren't that many MMORPGs.
Most of them suck.
Yeah, yes, most of them do suck. So that kind of limits our choices.
It's called
here.
Game of the Year, not Game of All Time. So I don't know why people get in there.
Yeah, there you go.
It's called Game. In 2016 is a combined year. There's only so much that comes out in 1 year.
Especially
okay. I'm gonna pull an
MMORPG edition. All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna pull an Altai here and like throw it off a little, right? So I still think that since we're an MMO site and MMOs constantly evolve, the game of the year should be indicative of the game that grew and became the best game over the course of the year.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. War mode wins every year, then.
Well, I mean, we have a category. I mean, you give us a category for most improved. I think that's fair. You know,
right?
Listen.
But it is the game of the year.
Ooh.
Okay, all right. You know what?
Most improved. I say Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, I would agree with that with the one Tamriel update.
All right, guys, listen. I want everyone's personal game of the year, not MMOs.com game of the year. I want the Shrelia game of the year. I want the Erhan game of the year. The Sean. Mine, War Mode. I don't care that it came out last year. It gets it 2016 as well. All right. In fact, it gets it next year as well. Every year, War Mode. That's mine. All right, I'm laying it down. What about you guys?
Like straight up MMO of the year.
Game of the year.
Game of the year.
Not MMO.
Game of the year, Pokemon Sun and Moon.
All right.
I'll say
That's fine.
Pokemon Go.
Let's say MMO.
I'll say Pokemon Go.
MMO, fine. Aaron says Pokemon Go. I don't know why Pokemon Go. It's pretty
What?
pretty meh.
I mean, it created a genre. It was so new. It affected the whole world. Like,
It didn't create a
Yeah, that's
genre.
true.
It didn't create a genre. Come on.
Yeah, what genre did it create?
No, it kind of did though,
Yeah, it
because
did,
now
though.
you have so many options of augmented reality games.
Yeah, but Ingress did that first.
no one
Later.
cares.
Yeah.
This wasn't.
But doing it first
Apple
doesn't mean you
invented
created
the Apple
genre.
invented the smartphone. Okay, who cares if there were smartphones before?
But they didn't invent the smartphone. I mean, who cares?
Come on.
No, literally, Pokemon Go was like Ingress with Pokemon. That's it.
It's literally the same thing.
Yeah. So no, it didn't. So you can't say it popularized a genre. It didn't create a genre.
Okay, it didn't exist before. It was underground.
Guys, I think we can all agree that War Mode is game of.
How about you give a real answer for 2016, since you're putting everyone else on the spot? How about you say something that's runner up then?
All right, so let's go based off
I'll give
of
you
Western
Blade Soul,
releases.
100%. Blade Soul
Yeah,
is
let's
my,
go
I think
for
is my
Western.
actual game of the year.
I think, given the situation, I'd have to go with Black Desert. It's not ideal, but given the situation,
I think that's okay too, because considering, again, amongst MMORPGs, your choices are really a handful, you know. And Black Desert, Riders of Icarus, Tree of Savior, potentially if you want to count, you know, Blade and Soul. There really aren't that many other, you know, generally
You know
good,
what I would give?
well
There we go,
received
here's one.
MMORPGs. Go.
You know what I give most fun game of the year? Maybe it's not game of the year, but most Battle Right.
Battle was awesome.
I
Yeah.
had a ton
Yeah,
of fun,
Battle
and
Right
I
was
love the
fun.
return to simplicity.
Too bad Battle Rise is a 2017 game. It's an early access
it's
right now, so
early
we
access.
can't count it.
I don't know if that counts or not.
I don't think we should count early access because it could change dramatically.
No.
by
My
then. I mean,
opinion-
it's
my opinion-
early
it's
access.
unlikely. It's unlikely, right? But it could change overnight.
No.
I think that's I hate that though, because it's like an excuse for
Wait, if
the
you're counting open
developers
beta,
for you to
what's the
hold
difference
off criticism.
yeah. No, if they're charging money for it, especially, you got to count it.
All right.
What about this? How about this is a better question, because this is, we can go on forever with this topic. But what's the worst game of the year?
There's too many. There are so many Dukers out there. Like
Okay.
I feel like
No, there's a specific one, but I can't remember.
Worst
what I'm
game
thinking
that's a
of.
real game. Don't give me BS. Like a big release.
Worst game that's a real game, yeah.
There was definitely something worse than Trinium. I know that. I can't remember what it is.
Well,
off the top
Trinium
of my
Wars
head.
was not a real game, so let's.
So guys, I'll show you the worst
Yeah, I
game of the year
agree.
right now. I'll show it to you right now. It just came out today, actually. I haven't played it, but I know it's the worst. Hold on.
you have wow. Look at Gumby's like journalistic standards. He hasn't played a game, but he deems it the worst game of the year. I love it.
You're going to agree in a second. Hold on. It's actually it just came out. It's not even under popular new releases for free to play.
You know what's funny though? While we're waiting on him, I think
Got it.
Riders of Icarus could have easily been my
Mhm.
game of the year if it had played well,
Oops.
but the combat was just so awkward and cheap feeling.
All right, let's see this. Let's see Dark War. Let's check it
It's
out,
either
boys.
this or Thanatos the Dragon Chase or whatever it
Is
is.
that the German only one?
Russian. Is it German? Maybe.
No, this is not fair. This is not fair. You know why? This is literally the same. It's a Chinese browser game they just released on Steam. It's not even like a real like this falls in the Aaron's category of not a real game, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
then you start counting Dragon Ball Z Online and all these other bullshit Chinese nonsense games. In fact, this exact engine is used in like 4 different games. The exact game.
All right, so your vote's for
Okay.
Crush Online. I got you. No worries.
Crush Online. Okay, Crush Online is definitely in the running. But honestly, points for being a little different. The concept's a little different. So maybe no, because it's a little bit different. It's poorly executed. I can't give it to Crush Online. I'll think of something even
The
better.
Skies.
Thanatos Dragon
That
Chase,
game was
maybe.
pretty bad too. Thanatos was 2015.
Oh, really? All right, never mind then.
Guys, so bad.
Let's see what else we got that's awful.
I enjoyed
Again.
Time of Dragons for like.
What was
an
the?
hour.
Mhm.
Yeah, what's the best controversy of the year?
Best Kickstarter of the year.
I would give it easily
Nice.
to I would say the best controversy was what's it called? Suing 100 people on Steam.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
really
yeah.
good.
Digital Homicide, I think so.
Digital
Yeah.
Homicide. You guys will go down in history for 2016.
Oh my God! The
You forgot.
hilarious thing about that was remember Aaron showed off the actual docket in the law case, like the actual complaint, right?
Yeah.
It says John Doe as like ex Ninja Killer 69.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like it literally sued like John Doe as represented by his Steam username ex Joe Killer 69 Big Dick 79. You know, like it listed everyone's Steam usernames and said that they were being sued, and it appeared in a legal filing. It's like,
Oh, this is fun.
The peak of insanity.
Everyone wants us to say No Man's Sky, but I really think the digital homicide thing was more ridiculous. No Man's Sky was more like the most dishonest thing of the year, maybe. I guess
Okay.
I don't know how to word that.
Biggest
How about worst Kickstarter?
Biggest disappointment.
biggest disappointment? TOS, True Saver.
Chief Saver?
Only because it has so much hype. It's one of the few
Well,
things
that's
that could have
why
been
I said
disappointing.
disappointment, not just worst game, just disappointment.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I think
doomed
so,
for
yeah.
disappointment from the beginning.
Pokemon
No.
too, though. Pokemon Go.
Yeah, Pokemon Go as
It's
well.
awesome.
Pokemon Go,
Yes.
I think, was pretty.
What are you guys are such haters in the aftermath.
I'm still playing
No.
Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is huge still. I don't know. Like, True Saver is not huge anymore. It died.
Here's the thing. I want to say I actually spent like $10 on Pokemon Go, right? Because like I was inconvenienced. I wanted to get more inventory space. I'm the kind of guy that plays free-to-play games and doesn't spend a penny. I am the cheap ass that all the whales are supporting. You know, I play games like, you know, even League of Legends for like 5 years, 6 years, and I don't spend a penny. But like in most like MMORPGs, I don't spend a penny, right? But in MapleStory, I haven't spent a penny. But in Pokemon Go, in the first week, I played like nonstop, and I spent money the first week. So I was hype. Okay, I had the
call
hype.
bullshit on your disappointment already. You just contradicted
What?
yourself.
Why?
You
I
don't play
played
nonstop
nonstop.
for the first. If you get a nonstop week of enjoyment out of Pokemon Go, you cannot call it a huge disappointment. Come on.
Because no, it is because as soon as you scratch the surface, there's nothing there, and I thought maybe I was missing something. There's
oh my
nothing
God.
there.
No, not only that, they took away from it, which is my problem with it. It
I
wasn't
feel like
that.
it's just in vogue to hate.
Well,
No.
it wasn't. For me, it wasn't the fact that there was nothing else to do. It was the fact that they took away what little there was to do already. Like I had fun hunting Pokemon down. You end up paying into this game, supporting them, and then they take out the systems that make the game playable. What's fun about random? What was fun about the game was like you look on your radar, you're like, oh damn. That is a silhouette of like a rare Pokemon. I'm gonna hunt that shit, right? You can't even do that. You can't do it. They took it out. So like pretty much your entire gameplay was let me run around like a retard and like hopefully maybe they just wanted to make it like the real Pokemon game. Okay, I mean
They could have done a lot with the whole hunting Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
Like beyond just like they could have like it could have been like a really cool thing if they expanded on it too. But they did take it away, which felt kind of weird. But I feel like they took it away because of performance reasons and that their servers couldn't handle the popularity or something. But you think they'd bring it back now that like they got
Yeah,
maybe they
it's
had
not
time to
an
get their shit
excuse.
together.
not an excuse,
Yeah,
they
I agree.
they made how much money, it was everywhere, like, oh, they made this much money. You're telling me like they can't like, get some help from like Amazon or Google or some shit, like
Guys. I have the definitive worst game of the year. Definitive, and I think you guys will agree with me. As a
alright.
real game too. Real game. It's not a Chinese browser game either. It's a real product. Take a look, boys. A World.
Oh yeah.
The $55 buy-to-play Arab-developed MMORPG.
I mean,
It
their,
looks
I don't
like
know. I
so
didn't
ghetto.
play it.
their audience is
I neither.
Arab sheiks. For them, $55 is like 5 cents. So
Yeah, but like, what is this? It looks like
It's supposed to be educational.
an education on not spending $55 on shitty games, right? After you buy the game, you get your education right away.
Here's the best graph of all time, by the way. I've never seen a game flatline like this.
At 0 from the beginning, yeah. Look at that, solid. It literally peaks at like one person's ever
It
probably
peaks at
wanted to-
2.
Peaks at.
oh my god.
Oh, that's pretty
Oh,
hilarious.
this is that one game on Steam.
Yeah, there's a buy-to-play Arab-developed MMORPG. It's one of the only Arab-developed MMORPGs, but nobody played it.
$55.
Right? Does it come with a hand job? Come on. It's like even Black Desert was like what, 30 or 20 at launch?
30?
I forget. Was it 20 or 30?
30,
No.
This trailer though.
I think.
Yeah, it looks pretty duked here. All right, enough of the game of the year. I think we can all just finally agree that War Mode wins every year, and that way we don't have to think about it. All right, next year we give it to War Mode too.
When was the last time you played War Mode?
I was itching to play it like earlier today, but I didn't. You know what?
Interested. When was the last time you played it?
Here's the thing. I tried
He's
playing.
avoiding
Like,
the question. Get
no,
him
listen,
there.
listen, I'll
Super.
answer. A month ago. I tried to
Okay,
play.
hold on.
The servers were down. I couldn't play.
Okay, hold on.
You didn't answer the question.
I'm ready to do this.
What?
Steam says that you have not played in the past 2 weeks. Your opinion is immediately
I
invalid.
tried playing. It didn't work. Okay, the servers were down. All right, they took it away from me.
servers were down possibly for only a few hours. That's not an
Also,
excuse.
I want you to know that I've been overseas. That's another reason I couldn't play. All right.
What are you talking about? The servers are probably over there.
That's true.
You're probably right. I'm probably closer to the real servers over here. I'll get lower ping.
All right, boys. I want to move the discussion to some chat clients. Okay, 2 points here.
Let's do it.
1. Have you guys been getting Skype spam links lately, especially the past 2
Yes.
weeks? Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Were you talking
they're done
about
for me.
the Baidu?
Yeah. How hard do you judge people that you get one from? So I've gotten
I
it
enabled
from like
two-factor authentication.
Oh yeah. Full disclosure: Matt was a victim of this
Yep.
Baidu referral links or whatever they were.
All right. I think we've all had moments of cringe like that. Again, I've had my WoW account jacked when I downloaded a pirated version of Warcraft 3. All right. So I can't. I don't excuse. That's the only time I've ever been like
What was a
hijacked
hack?
like that.
It wasn't a exploit or a virus. Somebody hacked into Microsoft and
No. They must have taken it some other way. I don't believe that all those passwords got. Otherwise, everyone would have gotten hacked then.
So I actually clicked one of those links someone sent me, right? Those auto links. And here's what I got. I got a fake Forbes site. I'm showing on stream. Stephen Hawking predicts this pill will change everything. We can now access 100% of the brain. So
Wow, it's like that movie. Look at this.
So basically, they're trying to sell you pills that make you super smart. Effortlessly
All
boost IQ.
Why isn't it a keylogger? Why would they do this?
They're trying to sell you some pills, all right?
You know, you can solve this, guys. Get an antivirus.
Yo, I don't run an antivirus, all right? That shit slows me down. All right, I have not run antivirus in like 5 years. I go in raw, boys. We go in raw.
This is crazy. They wrote a lot of nonsense here.
But yeah, but I've received so many of those links from like random people I never talked to. Like it just.
Wait, so did you just click on one of the Baidu links?
Yeah.
But why?
Just clicking on it itself, I don't think is an issue. Because it's trying to sell you some pills. In before Aaron sends me a Baidu link now too, and we'll find out. But so far he's clean.
Intelligent has been proven to increase IQ scores by 77%.
If they timed the spam campaign when that Limitless movie came out, it would have done better. All right, because it would be fresh in their minds.
Well,
Yeah.
all right. Next chat client on the roll here. Curse by which was bought out by Twitch.
Yeah, it's Twitch now.
It beat Discord to video calls.
That's so like sad for Twitch. Not for Twitch, for Discord. Discord, yeah. They had such a big like leap on Curse and all these other gaming chat clients, and it's just weird to see that. It's sad to see that Discord dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, we're Team Discord here usually, but honestly, this is gonna make us want to try Curse now.
I do
At
want
least
to
for
point
the
out
purpose of
today,
this podcast, yeah.
I tweeted at Discord once I heard the Curse news, and they did say that video calls are in the cards to say. So they flipped over their tarot card, and they saw that they're going to have
What's that mean
video
in the
calls.
cards? Is it happening or it's not happening? Don't tell me it's in the cards.
Well, then it's happening. When? I don't know.
All right. In very, very serious discussion, how does everybody feel about Haribo Happy Colas? I'm showing it on stream right now. All right, on my webcam. Thoughts?
I don't like them.
Too close to
candies.
Harambe.
Too close to Harambe? Have you ever had these?
Those are cavities in a box.
They are cavities in a
They're gonna
box.
get
They're
stuck in the
delicious.
back of my teeth.
I
Yeah,
have a
but they're
permanent
delicious.
retainer, so I can't have those.
Oh my God, Shu and Matt, somebody help me out over
Very
here.
bad.
You ever had these?
I mean, I have like all the Japanese snacks, so.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
that's
All right,
actually
Matt, you're my last hope. Have you ever had these?
I don't remember.
I had them. I had them before.
I think I've had them.
I don't think
and
they're
they're-
that good.
All right. I like them a lot.
I think that was mediocre for me.
But Mary, when I come visit, I'll bring you like a bunch of Japanese candies.
All right. I mean, I've had my share of Japanese candy too, because we have Japanese supermarkets nearby, and there's some good stuff there. But I like gummy candy, and
I have fucking 700 Littons. This is.
there's an infestation going on there, Shu. You must call them.
It's so bad.
You know what's crazy? I just realized the ESO is adding housing, and it would have been perfect to talk about this during our housing segment.
We did. I brought it up.
Okay, JK.
Right towards the end, before we transitioned out, I said there's like 2,000 different, housing stuff, like 40 different distinct styles. So we covered it. We covered it.
All right.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Oops.
Yeah, we need a Sunday
All right.
Funday schedule, boys. I want you guys to try ESO as well.
All right, that's on the platter as well.
You gotta
Alright,
do
so-
threes. You gotta do threes. The Overwatch threes.
I want to U-turn back to Red Fox, or not Red Fox, Black Desert for a second. I gave it away.
Alright.
Oh well. Yeah. So I want to debate Omers' definition of Red Fox as a MMO Necromancer because they're bringing Black Desert to South America.
Oh.
All right. So, chat, do you think that their MMO Necromancer is forever gone because they're bringing Black Desert to South
dude,
America?
they put some points into another class, right? They're multi-class.
It's not even that they put
It's
points
one
to another
level.
class. It's like they stole like some other classes like a spell, all right? They use spell steal because like it's not even like a new game. They're just publishing it in a region, all right? The game existed elsewhere.
Yeah,
They're kind of
Yeah.
It's nothing new, all right? If they brought something new, I know they're not just a necromancer. I still maintain that Red Fox Games is still a Look at the games they have. Like every game they have is
Well,
like
they took a
old
lot of them
games.
off the hands of what is
Games
it?
Campus.
Games Campus, which the people that started Red Fox had worked at.
guys, that has to be like a best of the year category. Best MMO Necromancer of 2016.
It's either Suba Games or it's Red Fox. There's really nothing else.
I'm gonna say it's Steam. Steam has been a very, very vibrant platform this year for a lot of really
Well,
old
that's true.
and dookie.
Dark
Games.
Eden's on Steam now. Dark Eden's on Steam.
Night
Over
Online
10
came
years
out.
old.
Mm-hmm.
Night Online is so popular on Steam. We talk some shit about older games. You look at Night Online, it's got over 1,000 players on Steam. 24-hour peak of like 3,500. 3,500. That's insane. You know what the most hilarious Necromancer though is if you go to supergames.com, maybe you can show it on Steam. That logo, like the second you go on their it asks you to follow them on Facebook or something. Like that robot, how cringe does that robot look? Their icon, their mascot is awful.
Oh, it reminds me of the paperclip.
Yeah, it's
Is
so
this
bad.
new? How long have they had this robot?
They've had that robot forever. But just
Is
look at
Super
the
Games?
caliber of games on Super Games. Just look at it for a moment. Like Bounty Hounds and nobody like is Divine Souls still on here? Or is that even Divine Souls is still on here? Like nobody plays this game. Like the game is so empty. I remember when I played this when it was first published by I believe Outspark. Was the first and Outspark they first did they were best known for Fiesta, but I think they got bought out or they shut down or something. But nobody played this on the original when it first launched in America. Why is anybody gonna play it now? They're not. Spoilers.
Yo, they have a browser game, Fragaria.
You know, Luna Online is actually still pretty popular in other regions.
Luna? Could be.
Yeah, 'cause I'm pretty sure it's Blue Land in other regions.
You know why? Look at that thumbnail for Luna Online on Super Games homepage. You got the giant boobs and the upskirt, huh? I could click on that.
Oh, Fragoria! I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that as well. But like, Ace Online is like the only. I think their most popular game. If I probably maybe Dream of Mirror Online on this list, if I had to guess, even though that's not particularly huge either. But yeah, this and Red Fox are the Necromancers of the year. All right, they definitely get that award. I think the only game Red Fox has that they didn't just directly take from Games Campus would be Legend of Ares
Cloud9
and Cloud9. They took Cloud9 from
Netgame.
Yep.
I think RF Online is still doing really well though, and
Really?
Really? No way.
look at the forums. There's no way you're gonna have 3,000 posts on 3,000 topics on a forum within that time.
I guess. But this game has been consistently running. At no point was it permanently shut down. So again, this is probably one of Red Fox's more successful games.
And
Because
Nine
even though-
Dragons looks like it's doing well, or not as well, but still pretty well.
But also surprising, Nine Dragons, I believe, also didn't shut down either. It was always available through the developer or a different company. Like this game was mega supported by the developer, CCR. At no point was this game shut down. It was always it changed publisher to publisher, but it never shut down. It was always going. So there was enough demand for it somewhere somehow to keep the developer in business. And they registered the trademark RF Online too. So maybe we'll get a second RF Online. Who knows?
It'll be a mobile game.
It could be. But bonus points, anyone that knows what RF stands for. Go. Anyone?
Rising Force.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rising Force Online.
Nice try, Omer. You really thought you were gonna stump everyone. Matt,
All right. For the record, Gubby, did you know the answer?
Hell no, I didn't know the answer.
There we go.
I did
I was totally
I actually
stumped.
played that game.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. Me and my mom played it a lot.
Wow.
I played it when it was a
Yeah,
subscription
potion.
game.
Yeah, me too. It's a freaking potion masher. That's all. You just buy like a bunch of potions and you just mash them on cooldown. That's how you play. And,
Don't you
and,
love
and
when
the
the
cooldown
potions
is
have
like
no
none,
cooldown?
by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Good old days of potion mashing. Good times.
I remember being really depressed because I got in, and the moment I got in, someone already had a mech, and I'm sitting there like, when do I get a mech? And somebody goes like max level, and I start grinding. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, it only gets fun 5,000 hours in, just like Hero Online, right?
Yo, guys.
That was the best comment, I think.
Speaking of some necromancers, you know what game still will refuse to die? Hellgate London is coming back again.
Really?
Hellgate London is good. I will stick by that.
No.
I played it.
Listen.
I played it. I did
Hellgate
enjoy it.
Resurrection was not Hellgate London. Okay, Hellgate Resurrection had a terrible business model that was made by its Korean overtaker. I don't whatever.
Overlord.
When Hanbitsoft bought both Mythos and Hellgate London from Flagship, they redid the entire business model, and the new business model was crap. It had a subscription at one point, and it had like all that whole golden ticket system. It had a bunch of stuff that just was disaster, right? Back when it was just a subscription game, it was much better because it has fun gameplay from the very beginning, but like back when it was a subscription game, it didn't have any of the annoyances, and it was a fun as hell Diablo shooter, basically.
Dude.
Diablo shooter.
I mean, I
There's
think
a lot
it's
of games
impressive.
that
This
have
game
RPG
just refuses to go away.
It keeps coming out of hell, all right? It keeps tearing open the portal out of hell and refusing to fall down.
Well, you know what it means when games keep coming back, right? That they're actually good.
I don't know. I think they're just stubborn. Doesn't necessarily mean they're... generally pretty good games don't die.
Why are you
Even
personifying the game? It's the community that's bringing it back.
There are enough fans that there are two Hellgate projects. One of them is a private server, and one of them is a whole new game.
Matt, games like older games that have like core player bases like Fiesta, like that game has been around forever, and it has never shut down. Even Nine Dragons hasn't shut down, and you have like even RF Online. These are games that are like not mainstream, but like they have a big enough core player base that have supported them over all these years. Whereas Hellgate has died so many times, and somebody else keeps thinking they can make it work.
It's only died twice.
That's too many.
It died once under the original publisher, which went or original developer and publisher, which went bankrupt.
And then Hanbitsoft.
And then Hanbitsoft,
Yeah.
which it put in a crappy business model that destroyed the entire game.
I guess it's more times than I've died.
There you go. That's more times than we've died. All right, guys. I wanna bring up Remo's shitty idea of the week. All right, you guys gave me a thumbs down last week. Maybe this week will be a good idea. All right. Listen. It's not a practical idea. It's just maybe an idea, food for thought. All right. It takes permadeath to the next level. All right. So you buy a game, right? An MMORPG, let's say, and what you have to enter your social security number. That way, your identity is kind of locked in with your game. And when you die, no, you're deleted. It's permadeath. You can never register again.
Why not just make Sword Art Online at that point?
But we don't have the technology. Shoot, we don't have the technology yet. But listen, if you put your social security, each social security number can only register once. That way,
you can link your phone number.
Yeah,
you can get multiple phone numbers and digital phone number.
Come on.
Why? They do it in Korea, and there's no big deal.
They're different. They're not the same number.
By the government there.
Yeah, but phone numbers are too easy to manipulate, and it would destroy the purpose because you can just get virtual phone numbers, Google Voice numbers. Phone numbers could work too if it could work, but I think Social Security would make it like top keck. So imagine like it's not only permadeath; it's like literally. It would add so much meaning to your character. I'm not saying it should be hardcore where like you can get PK'd everywhere, right? It doesn't even have to be. You can even have a PvE server, right? And no PvP at all. Or just consensual PvP. But wouldn't that be cool? Like if it's all the PvP is duels, right? No open world PvP.
It's like a duel, like a real
yeah.
duel. Like
when you
down
challenge someone to a duel.
Down by the river and shit.
Yeah, the whole server's like, oh shit, Remo just picked a fight with Shirelia. They're gonna duke it out, like, and you're two big dicks in the server, right?
Like,
all of a sudden,
across the river, gonna go duel in Jersey.
Yeah, wouldn't that be badass? Where like your character death had a meaning. And again, I'm not saying it should be hardcore that you get peek in anywhere you want. Like it doesn't have to have those elements either. But it's like some kind of meaning to your character where like every decision you make is important.
This would only work.
It's not the hardcore.
This would only
If
work.
you scam people, everyone will know you're a scammer.
Yeah, because you only have one character. There's no name changes, none of that nonsense.
This would only work.
Okay, if we're putting in our social security numbers, then when we scam people, why not give them our home address so they can come beat the shit out of us?
No. Only the server knows. No, only the admins know you're, to verify. No other player gets to see your shit.
This is a virtual persona, pretty much.
But think of the impact it would have. Every decision you make on your character, the things like you play the game so much more differently, and I feel like all the small things would have more meaning. In the game world, like when you got like even if you max out your trade skills, like you feel like you have something. Like this is my character. There's only one of me. If I die, like this is all lost. Trade skills have more meaning when like it could be lost. It would just make your. I feel like I would have more fun in a game like that, where if obviously you can impose these limitations artificially, but I think it'd be a very cool experience.
Omer,
with how much you.
Omer, you gotta have like resurrection, but it has to be like within like 5 minutes.
No. Yeah, but you have the CPU.
You have like the priest standing there. He's like, hey man, can you res me, please? He's like, I don't know, man, maybe for like 2 million,
Can tell me?
This is
all right,
a lousy idea.
With all this search for meaning, are you sure you're not like just reflecting your real life onto the games?
No, I think it'd be a lot of fun. That's all I'm saying. I think I'd have a lot of fun in a game like that.
What do you do about lag though? Like, what if you
just play a game like
you're fucked? Dead,
Oh, it would only work in a game like Rust or Ark, where let's say a round takes like let's say a week or something or a day, and it resets.
No, I want more persistence. Even like in an MMORPG, like even Final Fantasy 14. Like imagine Final Fantasy 14 if you just die, if it's sucked up to your social security number, if you die once,
it's called
dead.
a hardcore character like Diablo 3 or something.
No, but it doesn't, because if you a hardcore character becomes a non-hardcore character, and you keep playing. Like who cares? The fact that you have one life and it's you can't even buy the game again. Like obviously makes no sense.
Just saying, whoa, imagine I'm playing a fantasy game like a spaceship.
Well, yeah,
Whoa.
that's what I'm talking about.
It's just
not
bullshit.
a practical idea.
It's
I admit.
nothing.
It's not. Yeah, but I agree. It's nothing. It's not a practical idea. I just think it'd be cool if we ever have an experience like that.
That's
like I think Matt brought up the idea of a world ending.
It would be really cool. Imagine a Zelda game, but it's a 3-day timer, and you got to keep resetting the game. Oh wait, that's an awful idea.
No, that's not a good idea. I don't want to be rushed. No, but, come on. Oh, hold on. I haven't heard from Gumby or Shu yet. Well, Shu's been kind of commenting in the background. Gumby, what do you think? As an experience.
Be honest.
Forget the. No, I don't want you to judge the business.
Just be honest. Judge on the playability, not the business model.
And funness.
I would never play that game.
Boom.
Really?
Boosh.
You want to try it? There's no intrigue, no pull.
Why? I don't see how it adds that much more weight than just playing a hardcore character.
Because your hardcore character becomes a non-hardcore character and you keep playing. There's no like.
What are you talking about? Diablo's not like that, is it?
Yeah, there's Diablo 3's like that.
I remember in Diablo 3 when I died, I was dead forever.
No, I'm pretty sure it becomes non-hardcore. I'm pretty sure.
Again, Diablo 3 is gone forever. Path of Exile.
Okay, but here.
Path of Exile mixing up then.
Why bother? Just get rid of that part where it becomes a regular character. Done. Boom. Zam. I already got your idea.
But those players exist in a world with non-hardcore characters too.
Listen, if I want to play a game where I die once and never come back, I'll just enjoy real life.
I was gonna say, Omar, there's already a game where you can work on your trade skills and then like challenge people to duels, and if you die, you're gone.
Well, you can't challenge people to duels, all right?
You can. Just go fight.
Hamilton.
Bro, you want to 1v1 duel me? No, you can't.
I'm gonna explain this really easily to you. Okay, I already don't play enough games. I am not going to buy a game where they intentionally tell me that when I'm dead, I'm dead.
Sure. Back me up. Any chance you'd be interested in a game like that?
I'd play it.
There you go. I got one person. I got one.
And also, the moment that a game asks me for my social security number is the moment that I use the Better Business Bureau for the first time.
The Better Business Bureau is not a legitimate organization, all right? It's nothing.
It's...
people, I want to lay the foundation here because the Better Business Bureau is just it's like a Yelp, right? It's a Yelp. It's like, have you used the Better Business Bureau before you sign up for the game? No. So why would you do it after the fact? It doesn't change anything. They're useless. The BBB is nothing. I think it would be really. I would love to play a game like that. I know it's never going to happen, and it's a pie in the sky thing. But like, it's almost like it'd be such a unique and interesting experience where every decision matters, and it would just feel so badass to be like, "Yo, duel me!" And you know what would happen if he spent like 1,000 hours on his character? He'd be like, he'd pussy out. You know, most of the time if you challenge him to a duel,
why don't you?
he'd
But
pussy
you
out.
can make this realistic really easily by just doing what I said with like a daily tournament where you're out when you die. Like
It's because if it's just it's
like
not
the
then it's
survival of
just-
the fittest in Ark, but like just a bigger scale.
It doesn't have the same weight then because it's not persistent. Like,
Well, I have a better
I wanna
idea.
invest-
How about this game comes with a gun, you mount it to your monitor, and as soon as you die in the game, it just shoots you in the face.
No,
Well,
no
that's-
one wants to die in real life.
That's even more
different.
weight.
Okay,
No one
okay,
wants to die in a
Omer.
game either and then not be able to play again. Nobody wants that either.
Okay, Omer, let's say that on average, like you get to that raid boss that wipes your party by like the first month, you know? Nobody is going to be playing that game after the first month. They're all dead.
No, because what they would do the raid very slowly, right? They would be the extra cautious. They'd send and also the raid could be designed in a way that like there's an out. Like you could try, you could send one guy to scout it out.
Okay,
or, like,
but then you're
you don't
just
run away
cheapening
before you
the
die.
experience. Then you're cheapening the experience by making it artificially easier based on
No,
the fact
it's not
that there's
easier. It's not
permadeath.
easier. No, it gives you an out to maybe run away or do something else. It can still be very difficult. I'm just saying
But-
you could set up so that it's never unfair.
Giving
to
you
the
an
point
out
where-
at all cheapens the experience.
No.
Don't you think there's something fun in playing games and dying? Like I feel like some of my most memorable moments in any game are when I lose, not
Okay.
when I win.
That reminds me, one of my most memorable moments dying is in Terra.
Alright.
Yeah, so Terra around level 20, I'm sitting here like, okay, this has been all right so far. You know, like back when it was a pay-to-play game and BAMs were actually hard. So this is actually kind of like pretty easy. It's like we're floating through it, you know, and Kat and I get to the first like major non-like obvious BAM, you know, the giant like, as she called them, pine cones, you know, the spider-like things that extend their legs and they still have the thing that reaches up into the sky, but their legs come apart and they're not pine cones anymore. Anyways, we go up and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to attack this thing. And I start attacking it, right? And Kat's ranged, so she's sitting back there just like, okay, Matt, I don't think we can do this. I don't think we can do this. And I'm like, I can do this. And then I get hit really hard and I have like no health left. So I'm playing a Lancer, so I'm like, okay, I can still do this. I will survive. And like I put up my shield, and the moment I said, I'm going to do this, the thing drops on me, AoEs, and kills me instantly.
Right.
And that's one of my most memorable moments in all of MMORPGs because it was just so like defeating, but it was hilarious at the same time.
Yep.
Be defeating
Well,
is a memorable experience. I agree.
I think the consoles voted, and you are 0 for 2.
All right. I got one. No, listen. I got one thumbs up from Shu, I think.
Well, 0 for 2 like for the weeks, not by majority.
Okay, sure.
If you go over
last
three-
last time I got all thumbs down. Last week I got all thumbs down. All right.
All right, you're
We
getting
got
better.
one.
You're getting
Next week
better.
get two thumbs.
Keep going. Yeah, maybe next week.
I'm still surprised that everyone. I'm still surprised all three of you gave me a thumbs down. I really genuinely think this has been an awesome experience. But that's just maybe I have it different in my head and I didn't explain it very well. Maybe who knows? But I just think it'd be cool. Have that level of meaning and something. Real substance
you know
there.
what it sounds like? Those like juvenile ideas where like, whoa, if I get hit in the game, I get like shocked in real life. Wouldn't that be cool?
No.
It wouldn't be cool. It'd be retarded.
I don't want to be shocked in real life. No, that's why I didn't say that.
It
There's no
sounds like
death or
it's
life.
a similarly stupid concept.
No.
You mean
I
a
think
stoner
I-
idea.
Yeah.
I think he
stoner
placed
idea.
too much
That's
value
good.
on the forced notion that you have to have an experience within a certain amount of time. Like the whole concept that you can die and come back allows experiences to happen organically. Otherwise, with what limited time that you're perceiving that you have, you're going to try to force a lot more enjoyment out of it, and you're going to try and force yourself to experience all this content before you die. And it's not really something that's going to work in practice because it sounds fine, right? But when it comes down to it, people are going to perceive it in a way where they're going to have to rush, but rushing kills you. Therefore, it's hard to explain. Like
I
how
agree.
exactly
Practice
it's
doesn't
gonna
make
work.
sense. I agree. Practice in the sense it's not going to be a good business. It wouldn't get like funding or anything. This would never happen. Okay, I admit that freely. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I just think it'd be an awesome experience that I would love to live through, some way, somehow. All right, think Sword Art Online, but without the death. You just get like banned from the game.
And I'm convinced that you're going to look back on it and go, "Why the fuck did I think this was a good idea?"
It's it's going to be a.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die to a pouring. And you're gonna be really pissed.
I
and
would
ask for your
not fight
money
that
back.
pouring until I would fight that pouring only when I get a million. If I have a stack of potions on me, right? I'd have 100 potions on me before I fight that pouring. I'll do my research, right? I'll read the guides. I'll ask some guys like, can I take that pouring?
Oh,
Do I have that
man.
experience? I'll get a full party. You know, it'd be cool. You know, one step at a time.
Oh god.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. But yeah, again, all right, we can move on. I just think it'd be neat.
Well,
Speaking of old games,
all right, go ahead.
one last thing. Speaking of old games, we brought up some of the old games that are launching on Steam. We had Dark Eden, which launched there. We talked about these MMO Necromancers. FLYFF Fun, boys. FLYFF Fun is getting a brand new server. Can you believe that?
What?
Wait, what?
FLYFF Fun is launching a new server, new European server on December 6th. So it already happened yesterday.
Just like a reset server, or
Just
Happened today.
Yeah,
This is America.
This is America. Fine. But yeah, it got a new server, and well, hold on. This is America, but this is a European server. So actually, it was yesterday, European time. All right. Boom.
But anyways, yeah. So basically, what happened is when WebZen took over, they had a spike in European population.
But WebZen has been running the show for FLYFF Fun for a long time now, so it's not just suddenly new. It's just weird to see that now we're getting a new server after all this time. So people are still playing FLYFF Fun. It's an oldie, but like this game is also another example of an MMORPG, an older MMORPG that ran consistently and it never shut down.
This when I first played it years ago, right? It immediately stood out from so much of the other Korean like grinders, like Hero Online. Like this is FLYFF Fun.
It came around the same time, by the way, 2005.
FLYFF Fun had something behind it. Like I can see why this got big. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody today, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
But for its era, this for those kind of games, this was the best. I'd say. 3D
Not the best.
early.
It's more memorable.
Play,
It's more
MMORPG.
memorable than Hero Online, 100%.
Give me another. That you would like
what?
better than. Give me another game that came out that genre, that era, free to play, 3D.
Right, 3D. Let me think. I gotta think.
Domo.
Okay.
I thought FLYFF was better than Domo.
I don't think Domo was very memorable. It was a little more like convoluted. There might have been more going on with Domo, but it was not like intuitive, which is why I think Domo shut down for a while and then not relaunched.
Fiesta
you know
is
it's
an option.
memorable, but
First of all, by definition, anything that's published on Super Games cannot be a good game. I'm sorry. If it's on Super Games, it's in the pile of shit category. All right. I'm sorry. It's the rejects.
you know what's memorable but wasn't actually all that great?
Hmm.
I think it's Zensha.
I remember
with the
Zensha.
trading
graphic
aspect.
style. The graphic style was amazing.
Like the whole trading aspect, it was pretty memorable, but it didn't do well.
No, it didn't.
No, and it wasn't even that. It didn't even do well in China. That company is Changyu is one that dominated China and still dominates. It still makes like $100 million plus a year in China. But Zensha, they really tried pushing in the West, but no dice.
Yes, they moved on and did, I think, a lot of similar concepts in Duke of Mount Deer. That's it. I think a lot of similar concepts are there. They even have fishing, so Sean would love that.
I like fishing.
Yo, she brought up Prison Tale. Did you play Prison Tale?
Like a little bit.
They came out 2001. All right, that was old. That's like, holy crap, old.
I never.
I
got
played
into
Prison Tale 2 before I realized that it wasn't even out in America. It was European.
Yeah, and funny thing is, Prison Tale 2 like shut down, but Prison Tale 1 kept going. It's one of those. Yeah, of course, it's by Super Games. So
What about
Super Games-
Travia? Speaking of old school ARPGs, what about Travia? And then Travia 2, and then Erebus, Travia
Travia
Reborn?
Reborn. Yeah. Is Travia still around,
I don't think so.
or is it finally dead? Is it finally nailed in the coffin?
I think it's dead here.
Okay, good. It was not a. I'm pretty sure it's dead anywhere.
Also, speaking of ARPGs, I just want to bring this up because this shocked me, and I actually didn't know this. So, I'm sure some of you guys remember Cronus, which launched here to like basically no reception at all. I mean,
Zero.
it was an old school Diablo-like game that had ugly graphics even when it came out in like 2007, and it went nowhere before being taken over as a global thing by its. Well, it actually got taken over as a global thing by the Japanese publisher who is now publishing it in Korea. Well, it is celebrating its 14th year online this month. It has been running continuously since 2002.
Look how Duke these graphics look. Look how, and this is a perfect example of a game like Hero Online, which we did the Sunday Fun Day video for. This looks like Hero Online / Legend of Ares. This looks almost identical to Legend of Ares. Holy crap!
But remember, this is 3 years older than.
Hold on. Is this not Legend of Ares?
No, it's not.
Okay, no, it's not. Look, the interface is different, but because I was adding the way. But beyond the interface, just walking and the items on the ground and attacking look exact, and the map looks so similar to Legend of Ares. It's because when you're walking, it's trotting.
For the
Legend of
most
Ares
part.
is similar, top down too.
Over the shoulder. But
very much, yeah.
But yeah, it's 14 years old, and it just shocked me that it's been around for that long, especially with like how little impact it had here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, trip down memory lane. All right, we've
Indeed.
been running pretty late this time. If anyone's got any final words.
All right, no problem. We're sorry for the technical difficulties earlier. That was an odd experience. Power went out, and luckily it was only once.
All right, sounds good. We shall see you guys next week. And if you're
We'll continue
sticking around,
doing the archive.
if you're on Twitch, you will keep hearing us in the post game.
Well, what's Sunday Fun Day?
Maple Story.
Yeah, it's Maple Story, and I am going to force you guys to get to the 5th job just to show off that during Sunday.
Oh, okay. Also,
Nice.
let's pick what we want to do for this. Do we want to do we want to start at a certain level, or do you want to just like start new, and then just see how far we get, like in an hour?
I'm saying 5th job by Sunday.
No.
The only problem is we're getting back
we'll
on
decide this. We'll decide this in
in the after time. All right,
after time. So take care, guys. Peace.
later for
Peace.
you two.
Yeah.